Hello. My name is Anexius. And while I've never been deemed a storyteller, I feel that my unique perspective grants me the right to tell you this one. This is the story of Morin, a place lively with magic. It bustled, and it grew, and it became a world of peace and progress, all to be stamped away in an instant. I was like you, just a lonely adventurer, waiting in line to pass through Limbo, or Limbo Town as these people like to call it. See, this world is connected by a series of gates, a network, and they all lead here. This is where the world collapsed. We struggle, day in and day out, in a battle against an evil foe. The Dragon King lives once again, and he comes to claim what he says is his. The world of Morin. We have troubled, careless, cunning, loving, and powerful people on our side. But what we have may not be enough. We've traveled this world, and we go to fight. We lead this world now in a fight. We've allied a dragon, and we've allied many strangers. But we face a great threat, and it will not go lightly. It will not go smoothly, and it will not die cleanly. We fight for peace because no one else can. We've risen to the strange occasion because no one else can. And we will face anything to protect our world. I am Anexius Hex, once a corrupted warlock, now a risen paladin of all. This is the story of Morin. This is the story of the demon hunters of Dragonspire. What is up, guys?
Hey, sorry. A little bit of chaos right at the beginning, but hey, that's why we do this, right? That's why we're doing it. Yeah, so we've had a doggy emergency suddenly appear in my house. So, hello, everybody, and welcome to Dragonspire Resistance, etc., etc., etc. I'm the Dungeon Master, and these are the fuckers that we got to do this thing.
Just remember, this is the first episode of our recorded season. We are going to attempt to make an impression here, and these are we're all new and nothing. We didn't just TPK a few weeks ago, and this is
yeah.
Welcome, new people following this for the first time.
everything you guys just saw doesn't matter. No, it totally does matter. Actually, that's going to be the most fun part, in my opinion, about this next campaign, is that it's all based on the world that was built in the last campaign and the decisions and everything like that was made. Audio stopped on my side again, so it's very frustrating that Roll20 keeps doing this. It's
Speaking of audio, just as a heads up, I am now streaming the stream. I'm now putting it out there, so if any technical things come into play, be sure to hit me up. I'm still working out the kinks. I literally just last week switched from XSplit to OBS, so not only am I just getting this down, I'm also getting OBS down again. So let me know how audio sounds, if people are quiet or loud or whatever, and we'll adjust accordingly.
Also, I'm sick, so fuck you. So yeah. So as you can see, just to think, if you're not aware, Hollow for now, still definitely our friend.
We love
He has
him.
decided that he does not want to. He basically doesn't want to commit to another thing because he's not sure exactly how well he can commit to another long-term campaign. Totally understand that. So we've decided that what we're gonna do is try some stuff out, do some new things, and potentially work in guest characters and do quest lines and stuff like that. And so ladies and gentlemen, Ozark Zero. Hi.
I'm Ozark Zero. I'm the local homeless guy. These kind of people are nice enough to invite me in. They said if I played some D&D, I might even earn a sandwich. So,
Yes,
We pay him in Cheez-Its.
Yes.
4 Cheez-Its an hour.
Yeah. Sorry, so I have to apologize because I'll probably occasionally be like sniffling and wiping my nose and being gross. I brought my medicine to keep my sinuses clear. It should hopefully do the trick, but I'm gonna sneeze. Maybe. There it is. So thank you for all being here. So what we're gonna do tonight is have some fun. We're gonna goof off. We're gonna make the new characters, and the reason why I wanted to do this is to have like a kind of like sitting at the table feel, like that the party is getting together for the first time, sort of like we were doing a home game where everybody actually gets together to decide what we want to play, what we want to, what they want to play, what they want to do. I can kind of give backstory into, what makes sense for the campaign and stuff like that. So that you guys aren't being like, oh, well, I'm, this kind of character. Well, that doesn't really work. And, kind of come up with ideas and stuff like that. My nose is driving me nuts, but so we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have everybody create characters and try to design the party and stuff like that. Wonks is obviously busy doing the thing I discussed earlier, but she will be back soon. And so we're gonna do the rolling of the characters' main stats and stuff like that, so we can find out what we're gonna get. And
yeah, I will need a little bit of hand holding because it has been like more than 10 years since I played D&D. The last time I played, we actually had THACO and weird math shit. So,
Gotcha. Oh, it's gotten
I'm
much
familiar
simpler
with 5e.
It's if you were able to play D&D back then, you will find this to be super easy. Yeah. If you're like, yo, that all makes sense.
Down a lot. Yeah.
I don't think dumbed it down.
That's not.
They made it.
They streamlined it.
They streamlined it. They optimized it.
Optimized it.
They increased efficiency for maximum pleasure.
I think they wanted to bring it more into a storytelling situation more than a spreadsheet game. Ultimately, I think that's kind of what they wanted to turn it into. Is like you don't have to worry so much about the numbers. The rules aren't so stringent, so therefore you can enjoy the storytelling aspect of D&D.
I think the one thing that's really different that may throw me off at times, I'll just have to get used to it, is that it used to be that individual actions were called a round, and then like I think 9 or 10 rounds was a turn, whereas now each individual action is your turn, right?
Right. And a round is everybody's turn.
Okay.
Like one time through the initiative order.
One time
is
around.
A round.
One time around. You go one time around the group.
So
that's how I remember it.
So also a fun thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna answer questions about last season, about this season, what I can answer. We're gonna the things and stuff like that you're dying to know. Maybe there can be some answers there.
Yeah, normally we don't talk to chat, so
we'll be able to hang out and do the stuff. Everybody's got characters now in the Roll20s.
Perfect.
So you should be able to just claim one that hasn't already been claimed.
Oh, are they all just kind of random?
I just created them, so like they'll show up whatever, like,
Estagap of him. That one's mine.
Estaghop, which is the Eastern Society table against gross House of Pancakes.
I have a name for my character already.
Will there be a chat army? Well, I mean,
That would be kind of fun.
So I'll also be just somewhat describing the current setting because as we discussed, as was mentioned at the end of the last episode, when everybody died, well, not everybody died, but when people died, and then everybody else was unconscious, and there was literally no way left for them to win, and so we had the camera pan away, and it's been roughly 10 years later, which means the world is a completely different kind of thing. There's this evil empire. And the big thing is now there are three major factions in here. We have you have your humanity or your humanoids, your good races.
Wow.
The PC races. Then you have your undead, controlled by the Dragon King and his infinite wisdom and desire to become a god, which was revealed in the last episode. And then you also have the demon apocalypse coming. And so basically you have an army of undead fighting an army of demons, and then the humanoid races trying to kind of survive and exist and not really capable of creating a like any sort of like a force strong enough to fight either side. It's more like just kind of stay out of the way kind of thing. So, and figure out how we're going to survive and stuff like that. So there are a few bastions of civilization left. One, the most notable probably would be the Pagrek stronghold, because obviously it was designed to be an impenetrable, if you guys remember the Pagrek strongholds, 7 castles up on top of mountains connected by these huge bridges, where everybody just kind of retreated into, and, it's pretty much impossible to siege. Because, well, I mean, other than just being like, well, they can't get out because they can't really build siege engines to get up to the walls and everything like that. I mean, they're on top of really steep mountains, and that's basically where we picked up to say, there's these groups of resistance, rebel fighters, what have you, meeting up at a tavern. It's smoky and mysterious and such like that, and and there are plans underway on what they're gonna do to try to escape the city and potentially bring aid. So that's kind of where we're started, but I know that some people have some ideas and stuff like that on characters and things.
Are we gonna get into that, or do we want to?
We can do whatever you guys want to do. Like, we might not take up the full 3 hours. We might end up taking up the full 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Who knows? I mean, it's gonna be kind of winging it. We're gonna be kind of doing the things and stuff like that, and kind of coming up with ideas and such. And there's some few ideas that I remember that have been discussed in Discord that I thought were very clever and interesting. By the way, we're playing with all the new races that came from. Basically anything that's been officially released by Wizards is considered fair game, which means new classes, new races from Volo's guide and stuff like that. We're not doing homebrew stuff. Like, they can't just go on the internet and be like, I found this really neat, like, whatever. And it seems like it's pretty balanced. It was on the DM's guild and people liked it. Now, if it's officially Wizards, I'm like, yeah, let's play with it. Let's do it. So if you want to play a ranger, you can play the new ranger class that was released in Unearth Arcana and stuff like that, because they really rebalanced ranger to make it not the worst class and such like that. So they did a lot of good things. So basically that all the new races in Volo's guide, I would even be willing to allow within some boundaries. Potentially monster races, because they did add a few of the monster races with full stats and stuff like that. Like, if you wanted to be like, I'm playing a goblin who, whatever, like, we might be able to work something out. Oh god,
cool.
It's medicine time.
All right, so
what is that unicorn eating wonks? Oh god, wonks!
Hey, there's a light. It's been lit.
I did. I found a light. I'm sorry. I had to clean up dog vomit. It was everywhere. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My dog So my dog has issues with his legs, and we've had to bandage them. I woke up the other night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I walked in the next room because I was like, I needed a drink, and I knew I had a glass of water in here. And so I walked in here, and I noticed that he's looking at his legs, and I'm like, where the hell are your bandages? He ripped his bandages off and ate them. I was like, how did you even do that?
He's been barfing them up for 2 days now, and me finishing my stomach virus of fuckery has been cleaning up dog vomit on top of that. It's been excellent.
It's fantastic.
It's been a great week of punch the sicknesses in the face.
Yeah. All right. So, here's, so I guess what it comes down to is that I know that, like I said, I know that some of you have kind of been thinking about what you want to do and stuff like that. So how about we bounce around some ideas of what you were thinking for your characters?
Sure.
Can you tell me where I can find chat so I can say hi to people and stuff too? Because I can't find chat.
If you're unable to find chat, go to Dragonspire TV.
I know,
Twitch.tv/Dragonspire TV. You'll
I'm there.
get in the conversation today.
Twitch. Wait. It's because I in the upper right Wonks, there's a little arrow to it's because I had closed chat.
Thanks. Okay, cool.
It's because I had minimized chat even in the window. There you go.
I didn't know how to find the button. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Get in on the conversation today.
Yay! I'm so excited.
So.
Also, I have the little lower thirds things going in on a 10-minute loop.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, so I have the welcome thing up for 10 minutes, and it flops over to the other thing, I think, and then...
Yeah, right on.
Everything's still in flux right now.
You probably haven't set up the other scene yet, huh?
The combat scene? No, I have not.
No, I didn't think so.
No,
right.
I'm going to be just duplicating this one and flipping.
And stuff like that. We're going to be moving some stuff around when we get... you'll be able to see... The goal is to see stats up there and stuff, right?
Yeah, in that box...
characters and stats and
up there will be characters and stats, and there'll be one on the other page as well.
Yeah, right on. I am looking forward to that. I think it'll be cool. There's going to be a lot more information. The plan is to have a lot more information on what you, the viewers, can see in this one. So levels, stats, and things like that. So you can actually see, you know, like, oh, hey, you know, this is the thing and whatever. And then also, I'm hoping to do life bars. I would really like to do life bars. We'll have to see. Life bars is in Roll20. It's built into Roll20. It wasn't working before, but I'm hoping this new game, because we created a new game in Roll20 for this, works better for that, and so that you could theoretically see. And here's the thing that comes to the players: you'll actually have to edit your hit points because if you edit your hit points in Roll20, it will show like where your life's at.
Yeah.
Like in a bar. That's
gonna be awesome. If we can get that working, that's gonna be sweet.
So you'll actually see like how close somebody is to dying and stuff like that, instead of being just like straight up like, you know, where was that person? Where was that? You know what I mean? So it could be it could be cool, but it's gonna take you guys, the players, to actually to keep track of your hit points in the game itself. So
I'm trying to think of like, because in the custom class section, it says like you can choose how your spell slots work, and it says none, full, which is cleric, druid, wizard, half, which is paladin, ranger, or third, which is arcane, fighter, rogue. So like I'm trying to distinguish how the spell slots, like, because it doesn't nothing ever describes them like that. I'm just thinking like where it gives.
Well, is it a main caster class or is it a secondary caster class, or is
I think it's a secondary. I think, but it's pretty cast heavy.
But what is it? Like, okay, I guess I would compare it, because I think they base it on some rules. So like, if you compare the spell slots that it gets,
that's what I'm looking at. I'm comparing them to classes.
You're trying to see that thing.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a paladin. I don't think it's that one. It might be a rogue. Let's check what the rogue spell.
Yeah, but like, the warlock is a weird, like, because that doesn't count. But oh man,
So Paladin Ranger is half, and then Rogue is like a third. So let's find the Rogue tree and see if it looks anything like what I'm doing.
Yeah, that'd be like
Arcane Trickster.
What are you doing? So we can discuss about that.
Me?
Yeah, Arcane Trickster. Or
I'm doing an Artificer.
So just describe an Artificer.
The Artificer is, they come from two different schools. There's one that is mainly a proponent of alchemy, almost, so to speak. You make a lot of different types of pouches that have different effects and do different things. And then there's also the Gunsmith tree, which is the route I'm going to be going, where you make a thing called a Thunder Cannon. And it's a two-handed, I think it would be considered like a rifle or like a short barrel rifle. It's a two-handed weapon, and you craft it yourself. And there's a lot of elements of, I made this myself, and you can lose your stuff and you have to spend time making it again or making something new. There's a lot of magic intertwined with science in this class, which I really am a fan of. You also get identify as a ritual, like right away. First level, I can identify stuff as a ritual, which is invaluable when going through dungeons and finding loot. It'll be nice to just be able to sit down during a short rest and figure out some stuff that we have. So it's going to be a lot of fun with this class. I don't think it's a combat heavy class. I'm not seeing it as a combat heavy class. I do plan on taking a level in fighter for action surge later, so I can get a little bit more oomph in. But it is very much a utility class, a fragile class that will be quite interesting to play. And it is available in the Unearthed Arcana on the Wizards website. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect.
I posted a link in chat if you are interested in looking at that. It's official. It's officially added to the lore, this Artificer. I do think the Gunsmith is really interesting because I think it definitely plays into the idea that, like, I imagine your character being these humanoids are stupid. They can win it easily. We could fight. We could totally fight back. Yeah. Look at this thing. I can make this thing. If we all had these things, we'd kill them all. I'm not necessarily that's how you're gonna play the character, but like that's how I imagine the person who invents the gun.
Yeah.
Is like, why has nobody else done this? This is fucking obvious.
Yeah.
Like, we use a whole bunch of power to launch this thing, basically like an arrow, except instead of using a string, we use a fucking explosion.
Pretty much. Yes, so it does, the spell slot tree does resemble a rogue, so that would be third. So unfortunately, it's an official class, but it's not in Roll20 yet, so I have to go into the custom class settings and mess with it here. So but I think that basically settles it, and now I should be able to go in and mess around with things.
I believe so, yeah, once you get to, because it's going to treat it like third level, because obviously a rogue wouldn't have spells before a third level. So
yes,
it wouldn't get into Arcane Trickster and stuff like that. So
yeah. But it only my spell slots only ever go up to 4th level spell slots in the game. Yeah. I don't go any higher than that. It looks very similar, so I'm just gonna roll with it in that regard. And I'm sure there are rules in this PDF that specify how many spell slots I actually get later. I know I have spells known and spell slots. Yeah, so I'll just go off of that and then treat it as it may.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that you don't even get like 4th level spells until level 19.
It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane.
Are we making 1st level characters?
Yeah, they're gonna be 1st level characters. Okay. Yeah. These are essentially like, for the most part, these people your characters might have like experience like this doing this or that, but for the most part, like, you know, you're being haphazardly thrown in here. You're not soldiers. You're basically like, you're who we have left, and you got the gusto, you got the want to do it.
Yeah. Time to go to alignment.
So, you're playing what race are you thinking?
Gnome.
You're still leaning towards the gnome?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go gnome because they have a lot of I was gonna go with the let's see, which gnome, the hill gnome or something like that. Or is that a dwarf?
I don't
I
know.
gotta pull up gnome here in the book. But one of them was very much into tinkering as far as the way that their race worked. Their sub race, I should say. But I wanted to kind of like change it up and not be like an uber like great thing in one thing. So I'm going with the opposite one, the forest gnome. Because they're good at stealth. They have a little bit of illusionary type stuff. It also increases my dexterity, which gives me a little bit more efficiency with my weapon. Because Artificer, the one thing that I've found that's completely different than any other class, is one of the main primary sources of damage does not come from my main stat. My gun is the dexterity based weapon.
Yeah.
But my main stat is intelligence for my spells. So it's interesting. It's really interesting the way it plays out. So it's almost like I have to have dexterity and intelligence both fairly good. While dexterity is considered a secondary stat. So it should be interesting how it turns out, because I am going to want things to fail the saves against me, so I want to have high intelligence.
Right.
Plus, I want to be a smart character. I don't want to be stupid. I did invent a gun, or have a gun that was, I helped invent at least. So, yeah, I kind of have to be a smart cookie in that regard. So I need to have that high intelligence. Plus, I want to be smart enough to make, good decisions.
You want to know? Is there any reason why you might be thinking that after?
Honestly, I really can't put a finger on it. I just got a feeling.
Just got a feeling like you'd like to play something with high intelligence, so maybe you can play more of a strategist rather than a reactionary. Like, let's go head first into this.
Yeah, I think that a little bit of planning, someone that is capable of doing that higher level planning. I think that might be kind of effective in a game such as this.
Yeah, what do you mean? A strategic combat? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm like,
it's
weird. It's out there. I don't think it'll work. I don't think it'll work.
Someone that can stand maybe just outside the battlefield and be like, we're doing this wrong. We're doing this.
Just remember, it's easy. It's easy to role play a stupid person. It's tough for a stupid person to role play a smart person.
Yeah, I'm traveling uphill both ways. Let's let's put it that way.
All right. Well, so we got a gnome who fancies himself a genius, may actually be a genius, who will eventually.
I haven't rolled for that yet, but we'll find out later.
Yeah, well, who fancies himself? Well, at the very least, he fancies himself a genius. Who's a gnomish tinkerer inventor who will inevitably invent the gun once we get to that level.
Which is one. I get it right away.
Oh, you get it right away?
Yeah.
All right. So you are the gnome who invents the gun and is like, I can do some fucking good, but nobody listens to me.
There's no dice in here.
I'll wait for him to get back before I finish that statement. So I imagine it to be almost like you can stop me if I'm wrong or correct me or tell me in your own kind of ideas. But it almost seems like your character is somebody who wants to prove something. Like nobody listens to him, kind of thing. Like,
sorta.
I'm gonna do this because nobody believes that this thing is gonna work.
For me, I kind of picked up the mantle of my father. I already have an idea for what my backstory is gonna be. I'm picking up the mantle of my father, who I was his apprentice growing up. I helped him develop this weapon, who was commissioned by a key character in Dragonspire, in the Dragonspire universe, not a PC NPC, but my father was commissioned to build a device of great destruction for the coming fight, just in case the heroes failed. I had a couple mentors growing up. My father passed away while inventing this device, this gun. After his death, I spent a good amount of time perfecting it. And now it leads.
Don't look on the barrel.
Yeah, don't look down. But yeah, I had a little bit higher intelligence than my father. Yeah, so I perfected the design, but unfortunately, as far as I know, the person who commissioned it is not around anymore. But I was mentored by another person who is close to my old character, so that's where I get a little bit of That's where I'm going to get a little bit of level 1 fighter to fit in with my backstory. I'm going to be getting that from somebody you guys might know. But yeah, so that's kind of where my character is headed. He has something to prove in the fact that his father built this, and it's his family legacy now, and he has to prove that it can do what it needs to do, what it was commissioned to do. So he kind of has that like tugging on his mind. Like he does have something to prove. He has this device to prove, you know, because it's his family's legacy, and it was kind of like that crazy tinkerer gnome has been commissioned to make a great weapon, and like he's not gonna come up with anything, you know. But he did, and he did through his son, because I'm like any son should be much greater than their father. Yeah, so that's kind of where my character is coming from. Yeah, so a little bit of a snippet. I don't want to give like a bunch away because I do want to be able to explore that
some
in game
reveals and stuff like that. That makes sense, but definitely have some reveals and stuff, but definitely like, you know, what you might share with your characters as your players and stuff like that as you're sitting around the table kind of developing what you're thinking and stuff. Okay, well, let's figure out everyone's characters before we roll. That way we can, just in case people want to change, or, you know, maybe we might change again after somebody rolls. If they roll a bunch of stats and they're like, you know what, this might not be ideal. I mean, we're going to play somewhat standard rules. We'll do the 46, drop 1, and stuff like that. And I've lost music. I don't know if music is still playing.
Music has stopped.
What's that?
Music has stopped, yeah.
I don't know why that. It's so fucking annoying. Well, it's playing something now.
There it is.
But okay. So with all right. So there's a unique thing that I know that is definitely being discussed. So I guess we'll go to Wonks next, because I really love the dynamic that you guys were talking about before. We can wait for TJ to get back, but like the dynamic, and obviously you guys will want to discuss some of your backstory together.
It out. We just had the base idea kind of down.
Yeah, we still have plenty to talk about.
We have a lot of fleshing out to do and stuff, but I'm going to be playing a Tabaxi rogue. The Tabaxi is the cat people.
Yeah, that's from Volo's Guide. The new
guide. But the catch of it is that since Tabaxi are going to be basically unseen, like they're really rare, I'm going to be TJ's pet cat, and no one's going to know that I'm actually that I can speak common and actually, you know, communicate and stuff. I'm just going to pretend that I'm a pet.
So are you legitimately like the size of a cat and everything?
Yeah.
Are you like a cat person?
No.
Put something like I'm huge. I'm gonna look just like a
gargantuan compared to you.
But you're like a 4-legged creature, though.
Yeah.
You're not like a bipedal cat person, right?
I could if I wanted to.
They do have opposable thumbs, but
yeah. But you know, I could
okay.
If I had to pretend to walk on all fours, I could.
Okay.
They can easily walk on all fours or bipedal.
I've got cat's claws. It's one of the things is that I've got a climbing speed of 20 feet, and my claws can do natural strike unarmed attacks, which is kind of cool. So I mean, I'm very cat-like. I mean, I don't know if you can really see the picture, but this is. I don't know what I'm showing you.
No, that's
just
all the light is.
Too bad, yuckies. Well, anyways, it's kind of a person that doesn't look like a person. It's just a cat. That's big, a big cat. I'm gonna be a big cat, and it's gonna be fun because I'm just going to be mischievous and very roguelike. But I'm going to have a highish wisdom, though. I think I'm going to be. Kind of the backstory that I was thinking of going with was that I was found by TJ's family when I was young, when I was like a baby tabaxi, like somehow I was found. And so they raised me. So we have kind of like a really close relationship in that we're close together and I'm pretending to be his pet on times, but we kind of grew up together. I just happen to be a tabaxi. So we're like super close and like work together and stuff. And I just kind of, I'm going to be all pretentious and cat-like and, you know, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm so excited.
So the relationship there is that tabaxi are actually taller than your typical human. So like tabaxi are usually in like the 6 feet tall range. So this is a big cat. So like walking around, I mean, this is gonna look like a mount, especially to a gnome. So I definitely see situations where the gnome's riding the cat.
Oh, I'm excited.
We gotta have like a Han and Chewie thing going on here. Like we definitely have like a Han and Chewie kind of thing going on, but where but as a tabaxi, you're gonna understand common, because I mean I think what was it like? You guys agreed that you were kind of raised by?
Yeah.
Like kind of, were we gonna say that we were like kind of raised like side to side?
Sure,
like,
I'm pretty young.
Up,
my character's gonna be pretty young.
I mean, because tabaxi usually span up like humans, equivalent to humans. So,
okay. No, that's perfect then, because I was actually thinking I was gonna be around like 19 years old,
which is young.
It's really young. That's really young for a gnome. But you know, I had to pick up my father's legacy and run with it. And because of the fact that when he was commissioned to make this device, I was maybe like 9.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe like 9 would be about the time that the demon hunters, the era of the demon hunters was.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I figured, you know, I'm just hitting, 19 years old. I wouldn't want you to be 40, because that's when I turned to an adult. So I figured 19 would be good. We were brought up together as youngsters, and then my dad died, and I don't know.
I've sworn to be your companion to help you avenge and find things. And
now here's the thing about tabaxi. I'm thinking, because I don't think that they're of this plane, because there aren't tabaxi.
Yeah. Okay.
When I designed this world, there weren't tabaxi. So there's going to be some sort of reason why you're here. Because almost no one would, like, one of the reasons why your cover works, why you're just like, I'm a big cat. And you can do the whole, like, well, we're in public, I'll just act like a big cat and no one will be the wiser and they won't be all shocked by this talking cat, you know, and you can just pickpocket people and do whatever you're going to do as your mischievous, curious cat self. But we do need to come up with a reason why you're here. I'm not saying that there aren't people in this realm that don't like that. I'm not saying that there aren't people in this world that know what tabaxi are. It's just they're not going to be the common folk. Like, they would be scholarly people, might see you and go, "Oh shit, that's a tabaxi." Like, what are they doing here?
So
like, that's from this other realm, you know?
Well,
we do know from the previous campaign,
the dragon rifting kind of shifted a whole bunch of shit up, and portals were opened, and random shit came from places. I mean, I'm just
either that or we did make a bargain with the genie and gave them a continent. So could her race possibly have slipped through, and then maybe her family ran?
I could see that. I could see that.
Okay, and she lost her family.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe you, or maybe you not specifically, but maybe the tabaxi and the djinn are somewhat closely not related, but I mean, like, they come from a similar realm. I could see that. Okay. All right. So you're potentially your family, or for whatever reason, you know, when that kind of came through. Of course, that would only be 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be like the full 19 years ago, but 9 to 19 still pretty much raised together.
Yeah. Or I mean,
So-
I can jump my age. My age isn't like in stone either. You know,
Yeah.
considering 40
So-
for me is an adult, a young adult.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be like 29, and whatever. Like I started apprenticing with my father at 20, but I guess it's when the gin came. I guess was 10 years ago, regardless of
Yeah, it
what
would be
age
10
I
years
am.
ago. Yeah.
So
Okay, so all right. So one way or another, we can work with that. We can come up with some backstory there and stuff like that.
cool.
We can work with that. Yeah, because I was kind of imagining the Jinn mostly coming from a desert kind of place, like we'll I'm sure that story was gonna get dived into, but you know, they're clearly looking to expand, and one of the reasons they're looking to expand is if whatever plane they're on is running out of resources, and I imagine a desert when I'm imagining running out of resources, and I can imagine Tabaxi being very, you know. I imagine a cat creature is just basically being like, basically being cats, and the cat that I currently have in my life,
they're
annoys
driven
the
by
shit out of me.
curiosity and impulse,
Yeah.
basically. So
Yeah, they're fucking cats,
they're
and they're gonna claw at my leg
chaotic
whenever they get the
neutral.
chance.
I'm just kind of obsessed with. I'm obsessed with figuring out.
You're obsessed with chew toys and
My
Bells.
leg.
I have a laser.
Just
Can I
climbing
invent a
up.
laser pointer?
I'm obsessed with whatever you seem to be obsessing with at the point. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, what? That is kind of crazy.
I keep
And
a ball with a bell in it in my pocket, and I just like toss it if she's being distracting.
It's gonna be great.
I think it'll be a lot of fun to roleplay.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And
No,
then what
Tabaxi-
class are
Tabaxi,
you?
I'm very
You said you're
interested.
going rogue, correct?
Yeah, I'm going rogue.
Okay, so are you going like more of like a lighthearted kind of trickster scoundrel, or are you going like as a
I
fuck
wanted to
shit
be
up?
more. I want to be more sneaky, conniving, smart,
Mm.
like manipulative, kind of like, but like.
The
just, like,
difficulty
you-
is those are
like,
two different
in
stats.
the team. Well, like in the team is we're
We're the brains and the
all
brawn.
yeah, we're like smart and like doing shit.
So-
and then sneaky
So
and-
if you're going one route, which would be the muscle, basically.
well, I want to be more like the
When you guys first described this to me, I saw this Wonk's character, this cat character, being basically almost like your supplier, like your dude. I need one.
She gives
of
me
these.
materials.
Like I need this kind of thing. Like I can't work without this kind of thing. And all of a sudden,
It just
this
shows
cat's
up on my
going off and
nightstand.
being like, hey, I found one of those things.
Yeah.
Where'd you get this?
says
Don't
where.
ask.
Yeah.
got it. Like
Yeah, no,
just
I
kind of
totally.
like that, like sneaky getting stuff, like smart enough to get stuff. Like I don't have to be like super muscly, but I can be smart enough to know how to like get around stuff. And
Yeah, I'm just curious how
what
how you feel like your character would play in a combat situation versus like a role play situation. Like, are you gonna go out there and be like the
role play situation in terms of like group chilling and stuff. I like just kind of like
group
not,
chilling
like,
or just
super
anything out of
serious.
combat related? You know,
everything
so-
out of combat related. I plan on being just cat-like,
cat-like.
Yeah.
A little bit lighthearted and playful, but
Yeah.
curious, and like picking things up and looking at them when you probably shouldn't be, and
Yeah.
that kind of
but
thing.
not like distracted, but like I'm working on focusing it
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. Like I'm coming out of that kitten phase of being like, no, like
Yeah.
I'm focusing and this is my job. I can do this.
Yeah.
So you have ADD, but you're aware that you have ADD, and so you keep trying not to have ADD.
Yes.
Getting it under control. All right.
Well, so
that's
here's
my
the
kind of
thing.
back and forth thing that I work on. Sometimes I'm good at it, sometimes I'm not. Kind of.
So in a crawl, in a dungeon crawl, or your tactical Dungeons and Dragons kind of aspect, the typical role of a rogue would be to go ahead of the party, and basically try to be sneaky, try to find traps, pick your locks, do all this stuff, peek into rooms, find out what's in there without being seen, and then get back and be like, that's what's in there. You know what I mean? So that's your typical role. Are you looking to fill that role? Or...
Yes, I would like to do that. When we're doing stuff, I would like to be like, okay, it's go time. I'm focusing in. This is what I'm practicing for. And then when it's more role playing, that's when I'm like, well, oh shit, I'm supposed to. Yes, no, I'm.
Okay, cool. I just want to let you know. I want to let you know that is basically going to.
Rogue. I want to be rogue. I want to be sneaky beaky rogue. I don't want to be as like when I'm saying cat like. I don't want to be like not so much like when I was messing around with the character trying to mess with it before. I want to be slightly, but not a lot. Like I want to be kind of.
Nobody here knows what you're talking about, me. but I get what you're saying. She tried to play a Tabaxi before, but the campaign fell through after the second night we played.
That's a bummer.
That's why she came back. She's like, I want to play the fucking Tabaxi. So
I do want to play the Tabaxi, and I do want to play the lighthearted and fun, but not as much as you guys are. Like, I don't want to be like Winnie type, like not super challenging, like little bits, but like I want to be more like, oh, well, I'm gonna be a little cocky and
I'm gonna
not like cocky, just cat cocky, you know, like got that.
I'm gonna let you know though that it does mean that you're going to be, when we're dealing with dungeon crawling or exploration and things like that, you're gonna be the one I'm mostly talking to, because you're gonna be the one way out in front. I'm gonna be you find this, you find that. You're gonna be doing a lot of that, so you're gonna be in the limelight a lot and doing a lot of that rolling during that time. I'm just letting you know that is the role of the rogue.
And there's a lot of initiative
in a classic
taking.
Dungeons and Dragons sense, that is the role of the rogue.
There's a lot of initiative taking. It's like, I'm going to go scout ahead. I'm going to go, so like, don't be afraid to like take on those moments and be like, okay, guys, stay here. I'm going to go move forward. I'm going to scout ahead, or, whatever. Like, just be in that mindset of like, I'm going to be progressing it along.
So I can slink ahead and...
No,
but we're not going to ask you.
Super dope.
I've got the frame. I've got the mind frame.
Cool.
Guys.
Especially with things like that your climb speed is the same as your walking speed and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be really neat to be to have that kind of thing where you can do that.
And I'm also sneaky as well with my gnomishness. So we can be sneaky together. Sneak.
They kind of do that. All right. So
like we're gonna be a good pair duo of like.
I'll just sit on your shoulder and we can like
complement each other. So we'll like yin yang off of each other.
Yeah.
Like, did music stop for everybody else?
Yes.
This is bullshit. This is like the worst. I don't get it. It's supposed to just play. It's supposed to keep looping like random music and stuff.
Do you have advanced keyboard shortcuts behind it and you keep pausing it or something? Maybe.
No. I don't think so.
Weird. It's probably Liz's fault.
Zoom as well, but you'd have to like basically make a secondary account and stick it on there, and just have your music play like a radio.
Yeah, but like Roll20 is supposed to.
It's for ambiance. It should be in the damn thing.
But it keeps like stalling.
Yeah,
that's like the. And I just hit play on something and it's not doing anything.
Nothing, Liz. Don't worry about it.
So.
It wasn't really your fault. I was just kidding. I was just finding someone to blame. Okay. It's not your fault. Okay.
Bullshit.
Well, that's a lot on our characters. What about Sil and Ozark's characters?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna discuss too. I need to go to the bathroom real quick, but do that thing because I know Sil, you had at least started developing an idea on what you wanted to do. Because I actually, I'll be right back. But you can.
Make your speeches.
You can do a thing.
Stop telling us. Woo! Yeah.
I don't know, I guess I'm gonna go tanky fighter, probably, most likely. At this point, I'm thinking dex-based fighter, and I'll probably go some kind of elf race. I don't know. I can't decide if I want to go just like a normal elf or one of the sub-races. But yeah, that's basically me so far.
You can be our been around the block a time or two character.
Yeah, well, I
being
mean,
an
I
elf.
wanted to go with the soldier background, but since he said that we're literally not supposed to be soldiers or people who, have fought before.
I don't think that would. I don't think that necessarily rules us out. I mean, technically we're level 1s, so it's like you're as
I figure,
seasoned as a
she's
level
like,
1, but I don't think that rules you out of maybe that you've been in the military before. I think that can still be your background. It's a background in the book.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like necessarily take it as you've never touched a weapon before. I'd take it as, you were an average soldier. I don't think that you could like be a level 1 and have been the lead general of some army somewhere.
No.
But you can.
But
I think you can
figure
definitely
she's
still
like a little
roll
bit
as like.
battle hardened, like she kind
Yeah,
of.
I mean
And she
you're
comes
still
in it a little bit arrogant and like a little bit feeling like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean I think
but
a level
probably
1
really doesn't.
I think a level 1 it's like you have skills in what you are. You know what I mean? Like, so you've been a soldier long enough to like have some skills in what you do, versus just some dude that just got out of boot camp and like just learned how to swing his sword,
Yeah.
So Syl was talking about taking this soldier background, for her character since she's thinking about going a fighter.
Oh, okay. So we're thinking a fighter instead of I know you were talking about a barbarian.
I was
that's
talking
why-
about barbarian, but I've decided to go cleric in my other game, and she's got an intelligence of 8. So I
So
don't
you wanted
really
to-
want to play 2 dumb characters for a long period of time.
Basically the same. You have the TJ approach here of that same idea.
Like I want to at least have like an intelligence of 10. I don't want to be like.
Right on. So what kind of fighter are you thinking?
I'm probably thinking the champion. I think was what I was looking at.
Okay.
Or
So
the
like the
samurai.
classic fighter.
The other thing that I was thinking of was going the samurai.
Samurai would
But-
be cool.
Yeah, but like in terms of flavor, the samurai swords, what weapon would they most likely
Scimitar,
be
I have
the same
to.
as?
right? Wouldn't
There
a
used to be
samurai-
katana stats and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if they added that
There
for
isn't.
5th, but
Is samurai in the normal book or is it in?
It's in the Unearthed Arcana.
Oh, it's an Unearthed Arcana. Yeah,
I'll have to look it up, yeah.
I would imagine because the scimitar is a curved blade weapon. Maybe add like a.
you know what I would actually
maybe.
say? Sorry.
Bless you.
Math. Sorry. Wise would be I would be willing to let the katana be a D8 slashing.
That's
Alright.
they got it on the
And then
5e
finesse,
wiki,
right?
I think
Make
it's
it a
D8
finesse
slash.
weapon as well, so she can use her dexterity.
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm
there's
thinking.
because that's sort of exactly.
That's what I would
Because that's where
do. I'd say
Sorry,
a samurai is
I'm-
more like a parrier, like parry, 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 slice, slice. So you're more of a dexterity type than just like
yeah,
a
'cause-
block,
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I want
I don't know.
that
I'm trying to like glance at it real quick.
You could go like Iadu and try to get it always in that first strike.
Just
yeah. Like
one out.
the draw slash whip off the blood.
I'd say that would be like a cool skill. Like your unsheathing skill does like an extra like, or it's
I'm
like
sorry. Yeah, I think
advantage
it's
on
just-
your unsheathing skill.
A samurai.
But then you'd have to have like disadvantage on your second attack or something.
Yeah, or just I don't know, but like even just normal after that, but like just because you
I
have
would-
that crazy
Well, the
accuracy,
first
like your
attack's
home.
supposed to kill. If it doesn't kill, they're kind of like out of position then, sort of.
Yeah, but in
Alright.
terms of D&D mechanics, that
That's
doesn't
true,
make
yeah,
sense.
What race are you leaning towards in that case?
Elf.
An elven samurai. Okay.
An elven samurai, like super dex based, just like
I like that. That sounds badass.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm thinking of going like a moon elf, but I can't find like a like a sort of like slightly silvery skin type thing, like not quite
Yeah.
normal looking.
I mean, we can.
But I don't
we
want to
can-
go. I don't want to go drow. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what.
I'm thinking
are there
like
any other
Kubo,
sub-races?
the sisters from Kubo.
That is.
It's that what's it called? It's the little Kubo and the
strings that
two
you got?
strings.
It's a new CGI movie.
Yeah, I'll find a picture. I'm thinking like it's a yeah. Oh, this would be so cool. So here, I'll send you the image.
But yeah, I mean that was one that I was looking at. I mean the other one would be just the regular champion out of the normal book.
I'm putting it in the Zoom chat. There's
Alright.
That's a picture of what one of the evil sisters looks like in Kubo. They wear porcelain masks, but obviously you wouldn't need to. But I just like picture something like that as like a samurai, Dex warrior, badass.
I dig the Vampire Hunter D hat.
No, I would definitely be for that, and if I would almost feel like I would be willing to create an island in this world that exists somewhere where there are elves that still kind of, live by this Bushido kind of, classic lifestyle.
Would you say you'd be like lone wolf type samurai? Because you were talking about a soldier background, or would you have been a part of a structured military at some point?
Good question.
I could see you being older, like
I could see you being very old, wise and old.
Like this older, wiser, like maybe dishonored, like left because of some mistake or something like that. And so you left and you swore that you would never do this again. And then this shit's going down. So you're like, gonna pick up my sword again and fuck some shit up. I'd let you have like some sort of like family heirloom sword that you swore you would never unsheath again. Or dude, I love your character already.
I know. We're like,
Sorry,
Still's just like, yeah, and what else? And what else? And what else? Continue writing my backstory, thank you.
You don't have to do any of this, but I'm like, that's what's going through my head right now. I'm like, oh, that's such a cool fucking.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
That would be the coolest fucking like role play, like to be like I swore I would never unsheath this blade again, kind of thing. But I mean, there wouldn't be anything necessarily special. You wouldn't be an enchanted blade or anything like that. But just that's your blade, like that's your family heirloom kind of thing. Like that's the blade you've had since you left. Whatever the island.
Maybe eventually you can even go like short sword in one hand, like short katana, and then like a long katana in the other one, and you just like.
Yeah. You do something like that.
Yeah,
because extra attack warrior fighters get extra attacks and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you get extra attacks, and I was thinking of grabbing the dual wielding feat.
Yeah, it'll be like when Frank went berserk on the dude in the airship, and it was just like literally he's like 4 attacks. And then, or he did 4 attacks because he action surged, and then he fucking, and then he action surged. So you end up getting like something like 6 attacks or some crazy shit when you action surge.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Because multi-attack is action, bonus action for your second hit, and then you get another act. Yeah, it's dual wielding feat makes everything kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So you can really turn into a tornado of blades if you want to.
Awesome. I like it.
Blades of Fury.
I do think it's interesting. The samurai is a fighter who draws an implacable fighting spirit to overcome enemies. Samurai's willpower is nearly unbreakable. And enemies in a samurai's path have 2 choices: yield or die fighting. It's kind of interesting, like this whole fighting spirit thing. I was just like, yeah.
I'm for it.
Action, you give yourself 2 benefits: advantage or resistance. Or advantage and resist. Wait, what? You can give yourself 2 benefits. As your bonus action on your turn, you can give yourself 2 benefits: advantage on attack rolls, and so basically they're a raging but cool ass fucking like I'm like almost like a monk raging sword. Like I'm so in. This is so cool.
Awesome. I'm glad.
Oh, that's such a dope ass idea. Like I love that. I wasn't even aware of this existence, so like I'm even more interested because of that.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
and like
one up or Ozark?
Like maybe you were a more powerful once, but like it's gonna take you a while to kind of like get back into that groove.
Like a Fallen from Grace kind of character.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh, and it creates so many options for me as a DM too, to be like, maybe that backstory gets investigated. Maybe there's a reason why you have to go home. Like,
maybe I made you
and
auto
Elves
mail
is a
because
really
you lost
fucking
an
long
arm.
time, so most people there will remember who you are. Like, I like that.
Maybe they send pictures for us.
Or maybe we'd CPK before we find any of it out.
Or maybe you PPK before you find out any backstory stuff. I've actually been talking. So here's the thing: Hollow wants to run games. Like he's more interested in running games than playing games now. So Hollow wants to run games, and we've talked, and he's absolutely for. He wants to run games on Dragonspire. So we got more games potentially in the works here. We've been talking stuff like that, but I've also been talking with him because I'm like, since you're not playing,
Yeah.
here's some stuff. Because you might as well have some closure on some ideas that I was working on.
That's cool.
So he's more privy to more information than probably anybody else now about, with the exception of maybe Chef Tom. And Chef Tom's not here, but one of the, I feel bad, but one of the main reasons Chef Tom is not playing in this campaign is because he knows way too much about this fucking campaign. Because he was my DM in confidence.
Yeah.
I had to share ideas with him and stuff like that. So, so it was really tough to be like, I can't. Sorry, bro. We'll get another at-home game going soon.
You know everything. You should have just brought him in and just killed his character off the first day. Just get a meteor falls on this guy and kill Chef Tom's character. And
like I said, I want to do more guest characters and stuff like that. So
noted. I will make a guest.
As somebody who knows a lot more as well.
Yeah.
He could come in as somebody who passes on information to us.
Yeah, or maybe Vosik
Even
shows up again.
Yeah.
What has he been doing for the last 10 years?
Just fucking living in this hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ruling his land.
I love my house.
It's my hole.
My hole. And my
It's fine. I've been sneezing so much that my throat is raw from it. It's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. All right, that's fucking cool. Okay, so finally, the new guy, the guy who has no 5th edition experience.
Woo!
Yep.
So you kind of briefly mentioned that's what you're of an idea that you had, and I explained how that might work. It might be it might work as a really good idea. Is that still what you're leaning towards? And in that case, what was that idea?
Yeah, well, basically, I think I'm gonna have to keep these guys alive more than anything because we've got a fighter, a sneak, and then a range. So we need some healing power out in the field.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking this traditional dwarf cleric. Other than the fact that I'm gonna be kind of lazy, and basically I think that in my place I was working at the temple. Didn't really get into battle as a young dwarf and stuff, so I went lean towards the cleric side. Basically got into healing people as they come on and everything, and then didn't really take care of all my duties at the temple like I should. So now I've sort of got sit out on quests to go find people to help and spread the word sort of and redeem myself in a way.
Okay. Yeah. How did you feel about the idea of being somehow connected to Snowhammer? Because that is the player's quest. They're basically said, so memorize this pattern, take it to Snowhammer. Don't take paper just in case you get taken over, because this is the back door into the city.
Yeah.
Take this to Snowhammer so that we can create a teleportation, circle so people can get back and forth and we can be stronger together.
Yeah. No, I like it a lot for sure. I will have to go back and rewatch the VODs of the old.
No, they're long gone.
No, well, they're on.
Yeah, there's a couple. I think you might still have a few.
Yeah.
Of the first season?
There's lots of them on YouTube. There's a one little gap in there, really, but it seems like Snowhammer's there because I think I remember watching that before.
Those might be on your channel then, Severn, when we were doing yours.
I think they might be on mine. Yeah. On the Seven and Wonks channel.
Yeah.
They got so spread out. So the goal is for this season to actually have all the VODs on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the goal. In actuality, it's gonna happen. Damn it.
Also, I've posted the Unearthed Arcana for Cleric and the...
Yeah, it looks like there's a couple of extra domains in there. There are so many Cleric domains, so if you don't fully decide on what domain you want to pick, that's totally fine, because there's 72,000 domains, I think.
Those are just the new ones, I think, in that PDF.
Well,
these are just the new ones.
I have a question about the domains as well, because do I need to basically lean towards life for the healing, or do I still get healing stuff in whatever domain? It's just focus.
The life one basically gives you some for free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But clerics, if you look at the cleric spell list, even if you say take like, oh, I'm a cleric of fucking death, like you can still take a bunch of healing spells because the spells are all still there. You just don't get it for free. You have to choose them out of your like spell slots and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So you'll see that a lot of them are still there.
Clerics don't prepare their spells. They're learned.
No, I think they have them all.
They do prepare. No, they prepare.
They prepare,
yeah,
so they have access. You have
on
access to all the cleric spells at any time. You just reassemble them after a long.
Yeah, you just have to choose what you're gonna do. But yeah, you get some interesting combinations, because basically what with the domains allow you to like reach out and all sorts of stuff. Because like if you guys remember, crap, what was her name? Oh, she was great. Foxy's character, who came and tried to steal. Yeah, it was Creed.
Yeah.
Creed, who tried to come and steal the bow. She was a cleric. She could do healing spells, and I actually worked with her on this. It was great to make sure she could do healing spells. But she was actually a whatever the thief domain is, the
trickery.
The trickery domain.
Mm-hmm.
Like her whole thing was, like she's here. And she believes it's the good to go and get this bow because she believes that in the hands of her and her church, like that it belongs with them and they can help and do the things that they need to do. Oh, so good.
So one thing to note is your hands and your components for casting. So until you're able to get a feat, you'll need to have a hand available for somatic components. So like if you're like, I'm gonna be a cleric with sword or shield and mace or shield and hammer or whatever, you'll have to put something away to cast a spell and then get it back out. It's just something to note.
Which is part of your movement, I believe.
Yeah.
Like Skyrim, you have to have free hand.
It's an action. It's an action to. Well, no, it's a bonus action to sheath, right? But it's an action to unsheath.
Sheathing. It's basically you're basically like, if I'm gonna try to, no, it's a bonus action to like draw. It's an action to like try to put something away.
To put something away and take something out is an action.
Maybe.
I think.
I believe it was part of your movement. Like you could extend
I don't remember. But basically what usually most people did was just drop whatever the fuck they're holding to do whatever they wanted to do.
Because they would use your action to.
So it was usually like, oh, I'm arranged. I'm shooting a bow. They've gotten close. I drop my bow. I draw my sword. I start attacking.
Yes.
And then after the fight's done, I'll just pick my bow back.
Because I think a draw is a free action. Because it's just this.
It's something like that. You just whooshing, you just draw, and
you can also draw weapons while during movement. It's a free action during movement. But sheathing something and then drawing something else is an action.
Sheathing something or trying to put away or something like that. Yeah, I don't remember the exact rules, but I just remember that's why people just fucking drop whatever they're holding, just to be like, I can keep doing what I need to do. But just remember that there is the feat, Warcaster. It's called Warcaster, right?
That's what you want if you're gonna have a weapon and shield
then you can
and
be
want
like,
to heal.
I cast through my shield, or I can't,
Page 190 in the player's handbook. Interacting with objects around you. Here are a few examples of the sorts of things you can do in tandem with your movement and action. Draw or sheath a sword. Open or close a door. Blah blah blah. A bunch of stuff.
But not.
Okay, so you can sheath a sword. Okay.
Draw or sheath.
Yeah, that's what it said. I feel like a shield though is a bit different. A shield's not something you can just. That's like you gotta.
Well, even sheathing a sword, like you have to get. I mean, I get
If you're doing it during your movement, that's fun.
Yeah.
Whatever, but it's fun. Just it's one of those things where you have to have a free hand. That's the important thing to remember.
Yeah, basically.
Because basically what it ends up turning into is not so much the fact that what happens before you can cast a spell, it's what happens after you cast a spell. Because you're like, oh, I need to sheath my sword, or I need to drop my shield, or what have you. Yeah. Or, oh, okay, I've tied my shield to my wrist, my forearm, so I could cast this spell. Now you don't technically have your shield AC for the next if something attacks you, because you're not using your shield to defend yourself, we're casting a spell.
Okay.
So like that's where it gets tricky, because technically you no longer have your shield equipped to do,
Yeah.
The thing with that rule is also that that's one object that you can interact with. If you want to interact with a second object, you would then have to use your action to do so.
So like putting a sword away and then getting another sword out or another weapon out.
Exactly.
That is when using up an action
when
comes
you have
into
to
play.
start using an action. Yeah.
Well,
Or like putting your sword away and getting out a bow or something to switch from melee to ranged or whatever. That would require an action.
Yeah. Well, I'll look over the domains and try to figure out stuff because I kind of want to, use that to sort of shape my character and everything as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of start deciding that maybe after we roll stats as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think we have a caster class, sort of. We have the artificer. We have the ranged DPS, sort of, but he's not really DPS because you're more of a utility. It's artificer's weird, and I haven't figured out fully how to actually work it into a party.
Neither.
And that's why I am very excited to see one played.
Yeah.
Because I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Then we have the rogue scouting ahead and stuff like that. And then we have a fighter, samurai fighter. I feel like as a samurai fighter, it's almost like medium armor is like your, I don't know, like, well, you're gonna be dex based, so it's almost like you would definitely want to make sure you are wearing like lighter or potentially a medium without the dex limit armor, depending. It's hard to say. You'll have to min-max it yourself, and such, and then the cleric to keep you alive. It's a well-rounded thing. Like, I don't know what's going on with this fucking music, man.
I know. That's like the third or fourth time, right?
Slaying me.
Send a ticket over to Roll20
Yeah,
and say,
I
fix
would
this
suggest
because
that.
we're important people.
Seriously, bruh. Seriously.
We stream to tens of 20s of people every Friday, and we need our music working tip-top shape. Next time, try like a different browser and see if it's just Chrome.
It's just, but it's not. Is it playing for you guys right now?
No, but I'm in Chrome.
Yeah, I'm in Chrome too.
Because I've stopped and restarted a bunch of times as I'm like trying different things and stuff.
Yeah. So should we roll for stats and figure out this?
I think that's going to be the
So
next
are we
thing.
gonna
Sorry,
do
I'm
a
just sitting
point
here.
buying system or
No.
what are we gonna do?
So here's the thing. You're gonna roll, and it's basically like if you get above a 15, if you have one roll that's lands above a 15, you're locked in. These are going to be your stats, unless there's something crazy where it's like you roll the 15 and then every other stat's below 10. Like I might make an exception, but if you roll a 15, you're a goddamn hero. Like you have something about you that's goddamn heroic. If you don't roll above a 15, you can choose whether or not you can be like, I like these actually. I had like 5 14s and a 13. I'm gonna keep that. Like that's up to you.
Are we gonna go? Okay, I'm rolling for strength now, and then
No.
assign that to-
It's gonna be basically like your standard style where
Okay,
you
cool.
get 46, drop 1.
Cool. Yeah.
And then
This is
put your stats where
crazy.
you want them, right? Okay. Notepad. It's over the cameras. No. Stupid notepad.
And frustrating. I don't get it.
Mm.
Like it's broken at all. Like I can't get it to play.
How many stats are there? 6?
Already.
Oh, are we doing it with actual dice, not on?
All right,
our
so
I'm doing
you
it
can do either way, but here's the thing. Well, I want to do it one at a time because here's the thing. I want to do it one at a time.
Right now?
No, I want to do it one at a time, and I want you to announce what you roll as you do it, because there is a sense of joy in both somebody rolling really good and rolling really bad. It's happy, it's fun, it's something we get to do as a party.
I lost it already because I had it and I was gone. Thanks.
So,
Thanks for just taking everything away from me, Sever.
Is it playing for you guys now?
Luna.
Yes, no, it
Yeah,
is.
very faintly, you hear the before the storm. It's what
Yeah.
it should sound like.
Yeah.
Like I refreshed and hit it, and this time it works.
So we're
I think it has to
rolling
do
one
with
at a time?
me, actually.
like one person
So-
at a time, or
One person at a time.
Oh, God, it's
One
gonna
number at a time, so that we because we want to know. We want to know what you're rolling when you roll it, because obviously it gets altered when you get races and stuff like that. when you get your racial bonuses and stuff like that. So,
all right. Well, you call out who's rolling and.
All right. Well, let's do it in the order you guys talked about your characters. So first, let's start with TJ.
Okay.
So you get 46. Drop 1. And you're gonna do it 6 times, but let's find out what you get.
I got 14.
Okay.
I got a 6, a 5, and a 3. Are we doing? Am I doing all the stats or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going. Do all 6.
Okay. That is a 11.
Okay. I'm trying to find like more entertaining music for this. All right, I got an idea. Hold on. Fuck, what was it called?
That's a 12.
So far, so good. Like, you got pretty average in their stats.
That's a 10. How many is that? I got 2 more. That is a 13.
I can't remember the name of it.
And come on, give me a good number for my last one.
Do it.
Ah.
Do it.
Another 14. Okay. So nothing over 15.
Does that mean you get to reroll?
I don't know.
It's up to you.
Right.
It's up to you. Do you like those stats? Do you want to keep them? What'd you have?
Well, do I have to? I have a 14, an 11, a 12, a 10, a 13, and a 14.
Okay, that's up to you. You don't have a bad stat. You don't have a. I mean, you don't have a really great stat.
So would I have to re-roll all of them if I?
You'd have to re-roll all of them if you want to re-roll them all.
Oh, that's gonna take forever.
No, it's what? Just saying your numbers, just rolling and adding is not gonna take forever.
Yeah, it is.
That took like 2 minutes tops.
I'm gonna re-roll them. I'm gonna re-roll them because
yeah.
All right. Combat. I don't know.
14 again.
Okay, that's good.
16. Yeah.
Ooh, all right.
3 5s and a 6.
You're locked in.
So I only get 2 stats. I can't roll anymore.
What's that?
I'm locked in. I only got 2 stats. All the rest
you
are
only
zeros.
get 2 stats. Everything else is a 0. Figure out what you can't think. You can't talk. You can't. You can't move.
I got a.
You ride your cat because you can't actually walk.
I got another 14 just now. Another
Dude.
14.
Oh shit! A 16 and 2 14s.
Oh my god, another 14.
Fucking get a dump stat, please.
Let me put that in my notepad so I don't forget that.
16 and 3 14s. Good god.
2 6s and a 5.
A 17?
Yeah, boy.
Please, you better get a fucking dump stat.
You want me to just take a dump stat? Because I don't mind just taking a dump stat.
Maybe.
I don't mind taking a negative stat.
What do you roll for your last one?
Let me roll right now. 11.
I will let you keep these stats if you take one of your 14s and make it an 8.
Okay, no, I'll do that. I have enough secondary stats to be good. Let me figure out where I want to put them first. So my intelligence.
Well, hold on. So what does that put us at? So you get a 17.
I got a 17,
16,
a 16, a 2 14s,
14s,
an 8, and an 11.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I will allow that. That's fucking crazy. You get like, that's good. That's some good stats. Those are some really good rolls.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
And so
sorry, Wonks. I didn't definitely start to say Le Luna. Don't worry about it. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. So Wonks.
Oh, I hate you.
But I love you.
Great. I got 14. And I got a 14.
Jesus, 14s tonight.
And I got 15.
All right, well, you're keeping it.
13.
Jesus.
10. And another 14.
Wow. All right, so you had 3 14s, a 15, and a 10?
And a 13.
And a 13.
Those are kind of boring.
15, 14, 14, 14, 13, 10.
Yeah.
I will let you keep those stats if you swap out one of the 14s for a 9.
I would rather re-roll them all than swap out a stat for a 9.
All right, re-roll them all then.
That's like boring. There's nothing exciting about that.
All right, re-roll them then.
Is that okay?
Yeah, re-roll them then.
15.
Okay.
6.
Oh no.
14.
This is definitely Kit Biggie
Yeah,
Cat.
it is. 10. 12. One more.
I think 2 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's.
Wait, what did you got a 15?
I got a 15, a 6, a 14, a 10, a 12, and a 10.
Okay. Yep.
That sounds cat-like.
That's your stats. There you go. I would recommend highly that your highest stat goes into Dex.
I think
all
I
right.
get a +2 from my Moxie.
All right, so Sil.
13.
Okay.
Ah, dice. Why are you going on the floor? Oh, I can totally math this. Is it 17? Yeah, 17. So 2 6s and a 5.
Nice.
Wow. Oh, okay. 11. That's not too bad. I was like, 13 again. Uh, 16. And
Wow, good stats.
oh, my dice left me. Ooh, that's nice. 16.
Jesus, so you have a what was it? A 17?
13, 17, 2 16, and an 11. Oh, 2 13s, 2 16s, a 17, and an 11.
Okay, so you said 2 13s?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you keep those stats if you take one of those 13s and make it a 7.
Oh god. Yeah. All right.
You have
That's gonna be
17
my-
and 2 16s.
That's gonna
Are
be
you
my
kidding me?
charisma.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like super unlikable.
We have to spend a lot of time with these characters. Come on.
That's very samurai. You just be like, give this that grunt.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Pretty
How
much.
long has our party known each other? This is gonna suck.
At most 10 years.
Oh god.
There's no like place to put your modifiers. You just have to add them into your stats for your races, huh? Like my racial modifiers. Like I can't get my
put them in your
I can't get my
yeah.
pure base, but I guess your race would dictate your base as well.
Yeah, your race
Yeah.
dictates your base.
Yeah, it's not something that
Race.
would change due to.
Race of base.
The race of base. I'm just gonna put it in here somewhere then in my bio, just so I know.
All right. Finally, Ozark.
All
Let's
right.
roll some Stizax.
I can reroll one. I
Stats.
only got 3 6s, so I need to go get some new dice. I have 9.
Okay, good start. You're the only one who's rolled below a 10 naturally.
You know how to roll Oz. You know to
Oh,
roll
that's right.
4 dice.
Wait,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I rolled
Yeah.
3 dice and I re-rolled the lowest one. So
Okay.
I've only got 3 dice.
Okay. Yeah.
Same
Gotcha.
difference.
Works for me. As long as the lowest one is lower than.
Yeah.
Then just remember what you rolled before you roll it.
That's 9, 12.
Okay, 9, 12.
6, 6. Ooh, 17. One, 2, 2. So 5, 2, 2, 9 again.
Oh.
No. I got 1, 2, 2, and then I re-rolled the 1.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
Another 9. 1. 6, 6, 3 is 15. And one more. Let's see, that was a 4. I'm leaving it at 4, so 15. All right, I got 9, 9, 12, 17, and 2 15s.
Sorry. Okay, one more time. I got
9,
a second.
9, 12, 15, 15, 17.
Damn.
9, 9. You know what? I'll let you keep that.
Okay, cool.
That's
Unless you want
that's
to.
locked in.
Oh, he rolled over. Yeah, he rolled over 15.
Yeah, he had two.
I had
He had
17
two.
in it too.
Yeah, he had really high, but he has 2 below 10. So
Yeah.
fair enough. I'll let that stay. Nothing super. He didn't have a super low one, but he had 2 below 10. I'll let that stick around. So, all right. So, you guys can kind of figure out how you want to do that. Chat. By the way, just throw that out there. If you have questions for the characters or anything like that about last season or basically anything you want to ask, literally, do you enjoy tuna sandwiches? I don't give a shit. It's Q&A. Like, it is what it is. Hold on.
We have to pick our background still.
Backgrounds?
Backgrounds
Oh
are
yeah,
big.
man. It's character creation time.
I just picked my alignment. My character is going to be unknown. No, it's chaotic good is the
So
alignment
here's my. I mean, alignment to me is what am I trying to say? It's I can't think of the word right now, and I'm blaming being sick, but it's probably just me being stupid. It's I can't think of the word. It comes after how you act. So you play the character however you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It should not be foretelling. It should not be like, oh, I'm setting the alignment, and then people being like, but you said you were chaotic good. You're playing that like a fucking neutral good. Like, what? No, that's stupid.
I don't think
it's more like if you start making decisive actions, it's like, okay. Because alignment literally means nothing except in a few cases where it says this item is only for good people and this item's only for evil people. It should be because people change alignments. That is character development. That's like if you have a Dungeons and Dragons character that never changes alignment in a book, we'd call that a boring fucking character. You know, like that's the idea. Like character, like design, like character changes. That's character development. That's the word. That's a thing that's necessary in narrative.
Well, in my opinion, alignment is like your baseline, how you would normally act when you're calm, rational, and being normal. That doesn't mean you can't skew away from that when you're feeling like an emotional wreck or when something crazy just happened, or you're still very much a part of humanity. You have that sense. I think it's just where you find your character is grounded, when you're calm, when you're normal, when this is how you act. And then you definitely stray from that. The whole point of alignment changes is, TJ, you're straying away from this a lot. Like, during normal situations, why are you just deciding that you're going to steal from people all the time?
Yeah.
Well, now we're changing your alignment, or you got to stop doing that. Like, I see it both ways, but I think it's your alignment is based on, like, when you're normal, not emotional, not aggressive, you know? It's just, like, how you are when you're just in a bar. That's how I put it. I think that's very much up to, like, a player choice too. Like, how do you want to play alignment, and then work that out, you know? Because some people like doing that. They like being like, I want to play this character chaotic good, or I want to play this character lawful good, and I'm going to stick by that. And then when some shit happens, or when a player fucks up, as a player will, that's when it's like, hey, you fucked up, I'm changing your alignment now. And it's like, oh, fuck, now I have to figure out how to get my alignment back. I have to redeem myself. So it can become a quest in and of itself when you get really yourself into your character. Not that I would ever condone going lawful good. It's really boring. Don't ever do that.
I personally think. So I used to agree. You know, a policeman would be really boring, but it's actually I've since changed my mind about it because of the fact that it creates this weird dynamic, or like an interesting dynamic of being like, no, we need to do this, and like the rest of the party being like, no, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, you know, like standing up
where
for
it
yourself.
comes into that, where it's like, my morals tell me this is what we need to do, and like you can really take that stance and ham that shit up. You know what I mean? Like it gives you fantastic role playing, like you know, opportunities and stuff like that.
But in my opinion, if you take an alignment that's on the extreme, you have to play that alignment.
Yeah.
Like the middle ground, more neutral-ish alignments, you can kind of waver. But if you're gonna be like, my character's lawful good, you better play lawful good. You're not just like not lawful good one day. You know, there is a reason why alignments do change, and I don't think it's because like. I think it's because something crazy happened to your character. I don't think your alignment just changes because you woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah. So no, it's clear, but like, so to kind of go back through some questions here. Do I dye my beard? No. My facial hair has always been darker than my actual hair. It's just the way it is.
I have the opposite problem.
TJ, you have nice buns, but do you have a nice personality?
No.
No, he's a dick. I'm still not sure how he landed this gig. Kind
of, sort
Were
of.
you born a hot man baby? No, I was born average but fully grown. Or Ozark, do you like guacamole?
I do like guacamole.
Oh, absolutely. That's fantastic.
Learning so much about each other.
Welcome back. Look at the thing. All right. I glanced through. That was the questions so far. I think 100% of them. 100% of them were from Liz. There were a few others, but they got answered in chat.
We also have to roll our
like. Still, what class and race are you? And you already answered that you're playing a samurai elf. So, but yeah.
Siv, I wanted to ask you, are there any other elven sub-races rather, in the like Volos or anything like that you know?
Not in Volos. And not that immediately come to mind. You can keep digging, if you would want, through Unearthed Arcana or anything like that. There are none in Volos. Volos are solid races. They have a lot of I got my new assignment. Oh shit.
Sweet, rocking that mean 10 HP at first level, yo.
Check your assignment. Let us know where you'll be.
So I'm very intrigued to find out what your end stats will end up being. But no, in Volos is straight up like new races, so they didn't add any subclasses. Unearthed Arcana usually tends to do like stuff. So just to recap real quick of what the party build is. So we have TJ's playing a gnome artificer. Artificers comes from a recent Unearthed Arcana. He's going to be he's going to be a gunsmith. Mm-hmm. So essentially he's going to be a tinkerer who ends up designing guns, which is pretty dope. Wonks is going to be a tabaxi, which is a cat, which is basically like a Khajiit, sort of. Tabaxi rogue. She and TJ's character have a backstory. Syl is the samurai elf with like a world of potential for a backstory. We haven't. I threw out about 1,000 ideas all at once because it made me fucking idea
tingle.
And Ozark is playing a dwarven cleric hailing from Snowhammer, hailing from Snowhammer, which is their current quest. So that's why he is very anxious to head back. And we can kind of work on some backstory potentially of why you ended up in the city. So Ozark, you might not remember, but basically, so the Snowhammer is basically like Nova Scotia, very northeastern, like up there, cold, you know, whatever, Arctic kind of area. Nova Scotia is not quite Arctic, but northeast. And the Pagrek stronghold is Vancouver. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's like literally, so both pretty northern, but opposite sides of a continent. Yeah. So like thinking about why you might be over there will be something to think about.
Okay.
And also the Pagrek stronghold it's a major city. It's considered one of the portal cities, one of the 16 portal cities when the portals worked. It's a major city. It is the Dragonborn city. So why you might be over there and things like that would be things to consider. One of the major reasons you might be over there is because if you were there 10 years ago, you're probably still there. Like, because it got shut down, it became under siege. People, not a lot of people are getting in or out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
How do I fix my engine? I don't know. Each of you, including Sev, what was your favorite part of the last storyline? Loaded question. That is epic loaded question. Favorite part of the last storyline. If you have something that pops in your head immediately, go ahead and answer because it's gonna take me a second.
When I switched classes, that was probably one of the most dramatic and emotionally loaded episodes. When I found out what I actually did as a child, massacring an entire orphanage, killing the mages that raised me, all that. I mean, I think most of us were in tears. That was a pretty heavy episode for me, and it was like it ended with like this righteous ending of me now becoming a paladin, and it was just a really, really just like well built episode. I felt like it would have been it could have been a good show, you know. So I really liked that episode a lot. That was my favorite one.
All right. Yeah. No, that was definitely near my
super
top.
Selfish answer, but yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously the one that meant a lot to you is gonna be high up there. So.
Yeah.
All right. I need to change. We've been looping this one for a little bit. It was good for character rolling. But
yeah, thanks.
I get talking and I forget what was actually going on here.
Or my brain is like constantly playing a platformer while sleeping.
Dude, trying to play this is so annoying.
Okay, so I can get any two simple weapons or a hand axe and a light hammer. Let's check out what I get.
I feel like my brain is broken.
Okay, all right. How about Wonks? Do you have a favorite scene from the last, or a favorite episode or something from the last series?
That's not helpful.
Okay, how about Syl? You have a favorite from the last series?
Yeah, when I jumped off the tower and sacrificed myself to try and save the
Dude,
party.
I honestly thought, and I hate to say this, I honestly thought the party was gonna win. And I had built some mechanics into that fight. I had built some mechanics into that fight because I knew it would be. I knew you guys do a lot of damage, but you can't take a lot of damage. So I had modified the fight to make sure that it dragged on a bit. And yeah. It definitely did that, and so your sacrifice was gonna be this epic holy shit, and then it didn't work out. But oh my god, it was not only the fact that you tackle him off the tower, but he rolled a natural 20 and then you rolled a natural 20. So it was basically like, oh, no, this is going down. It was so good.
Awesome.
It was so good. Ozark, you didn't play in the last, but do you have a last, as a viewer of the last season, do you have a favorite episode?
Well, maybe it's the dwarf in me talking, but the actual Snowhammer episode where they unfroze the dwarves and the whole party basically just started about to cry basically was fantastic.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, I'll be fully honest. I think that's probably still my favorite as well. Like, because I'm sitting here thinking about it, and there were some really cool things. I liked your first dive into sort of the Infinite Abyss when you first went in, and you first went into the portals, and you were like, "Where the fuck are we?" And everything was messing with your minds and stuff like that. Like, I loved that. That was a lot of fun and stuff like that. But I have to say, as a dungeon master in my first full campaign on episode 5, 6, when I had the entire party crying, I was like, I like this. When I myself was like choked up and everything like that, like 6 games in, and I'm like, dude, if I need to make my party cry as often as possible, but like in a good way. Like, I need to make this happen. I have so much power right now. I love this. Oh yeah, I have to agree. Like, yeah, the Snowhammer is probably my favorite. I still tell that story. I tell a few stories, and they're always the emotional ones. Like the emotional ones. But I will say probably my second favorite was this is being selfish. Is the Deneth versus the Worm episode, when you went through the whole thing. You guys had your epic fight down, and you fought a demon, and you come back up, and the world's becoming corrupted, and then the Wyvern Riders come in, and like you're all being attacked, and all of a sudden the worm comes up because everything is making so many tremors that it attracts the worm, and so the worm starts eating the Wyvern Riders, and then Deneth comes up and starts fighting against the worm, and you guys jump on Deneth's back and fly away. That was really good too. I really liked that one. But yeah. So yeah, I really like that one too, but I still have to say the emotional kind of grab, that first Snowhammer grab was definitely really good. Let me scan through here. Each of you included was a loaded question. Okay. Not a question. Just wanted to say I got a job. Congrats, Stormy.
Congrats, Stormy. Proud of you.
You have the same pair of glasses. True or false? False. That was easy. Go on. I mean, I know for a fact that Wonks and I have different glasses, so it's false. I don't even have to ask Ozark. Is Sev the Dungeon Master senpai you always wanted, TJ, Sil, and Wonks?
I prefer to DM my own game. Like, just me playing and me DMing. I tend to win that way. It's like playing chess by yourself. But no, yeah, Sev's all right. I mean, you know, he rolls the dice, and they're not always natural 20s, so I guess it's good. No, yeah. When Sev gets his mind in it, and he really does flesh out like a city, and he thinks about like the main issue, the one Achilles heel of DMing is you're gonna plan for a million things, and one of them will get used. And so it gets really hard to like motivate yourself to plan a million things, right? It's like, well, I'll plan 3 things, and then they'll only use 1, and then I'll have to like, but like it really does in looking back, like Stormpike was awesome. There was NPCs, there's lots of different stuff, and so when he gets in gear and he's really fleshing things out, like really getting broad with everything, and there's like that's when it like really shines. So like Snowhammer, Stormpike was awesome. The Pegrak Stronghold was awesome. These cities that had really robust systems that take hella effort, and as a player you definitely respect those types of locations and when you're in those environments.
And then he fucks up and forgets to name a city.
Oh, you're flying over that city. That one
like,
city.
Oh, holy shit! I didn't ever name that city. And I'm like thinking of stories involving the city, and I'm always like, I'll think of the name later. And I'm like, I'll think of the name later. And I'm like, I've got all these storylines kind of tied into it.
They're never gonna stop there.
I'll think of the name later.
Never gonna stop.
And then
there.
I'm like, oh shit, they're at the city. And never actually. Fuck.
I've always told Severn that he should write, so I've always thought he was an awesome storyteller forever.
Yeah, it's true, but I'm lazy.
No.
I'm lazy.
I like how it gives me a light crossbow. What the fuck? Like...
TJ, do you know how the 2-weapon fighting works in this?
So 2-weapon fighting, there is you get it as a fighter, but there's also a feat for it.
Yeah.
I believe the feat takes all the disadvantages of great weapon or 2-weapon fighting away. Because,
yeah, it does. Yeah.
Let me pull up fighter real fast. That was one of the things that I had to like dig in with Frank.
Because like, do I get to like essentially attack with one weapon and then attack with the other?
Yes.
Is
so
that count as like
action,
the bonus action?
Your action is attack.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Because it's like, but only if you take your action as an attack action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You can't like attack and then do something else as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So, and then I believe that 2-weapon fighter makes it to where you can, because normal dual wielding, you can only do with light weapons.
Right.
I believe.
Yeah.
But 2-weapon fighting feat takes that away, and you can have you can't have two-handed weapons, but you can have normal
but
weapons.
I mean, I could have 2 samurai swords essentially.
Yeah, you could have 2 samurai swords or 2 long swords, however you want to go about it. Yeah. So that is what I believe. Let me just make sure I'm not an asshat about it. That might be extra attack. Let me see. Where's 2-weapon fighting? Because it's a class feature, right?
It's a fighting style. I
Fighting style, that's right. Dueling. Yeah. When you are wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons. No, that's dueling. 2-weapon fighting at the bottom. There it is. When you engage in 2-weapon fighting, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack. Yeah, because your offhand attack, you don't get your strength bonus to it normally.
Right. Unless I take the dual wielding
if you take 2-weapon fighting, you still get to add your strength to it, or your dex, depending on what weapon you're using.
Yep. So
that 2-weapon fighting basically allows you to add your modifiers to your offhand attack as well. And then there is a section on 2-handing, which I believe it's in combat. So 2-handing is a kind of a complicated beast, because there are like 3 places where it's mentioned, and things change with what you are. Melee attacks, 2-weapon fighting. When you take an attack action, so your primary action as an attack, an attack with a light melee weapon you are holding in one hand, you can use a bonus action to attack with the different light weapon in your other hand. So it is a bonus action. You don't add the ability modifier to the damage of the bonus attack unless the modifier is negative. So if you have a negative modifier, you have to take it. If either weapon is thrown, you can throw the weapon instead of making a melee attack with it. So standard 2-handed fighting, they have to be light. Bonus action is your offhand. You don't get your ability modifier. With 2-weapon fighting, with the fighter, your offhand would have the ability modifier, but it's still your bonus action.
Right.
And then the feat makes it to where they don't have to be light weapons. They can be normal weapons. But it's still your bonus action as an offhand. Then extra attack would be attack action, main hand, bonus action, offhand, then you get another attack. So you get 3 attacks if you take that. And then as a fighter, you'll get action surge, which means in one turn, you can literally get 6 attacks. No. Yes.
5.
Does action surge give back a bonus action?
No.
It doesn't. So you get 5 attacks.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
So
it's something ridiculous.
You can go like crazy whirlwind if you action surge your shit, basically. But yeah, two-handing can get kind of complicated if you're gonna have to start on the right page and then be like, okay, this is the base of two-weapon fighting. Then we move to fighter and it takes this negative away. Then we move to this feat and it takes this negative away. So you have to like go through the steps to like get it in like working in your brain because it's like all over the place. But yeah, so you'll need to start out at first level with light weapons if that's the route you're gonna be going. I don't know when you get your fighting style. Is it level 1? As a warrior or as a fighter?
That's 3.
3?
No, it looks like it's like the very first one of the first
It might be
things.
one of the first things you pick up is your fighting style.
Might it?
Might.
Oh, well, I guess it doesn't really.
Right at the start.
It is.
You choose your martial archetype at level 3.
Yeah,
but...
that's what you pick at level 3.
Oh, okay.
Your fighting style, yeah, you'll pick right away. So if your class comes with light weapons, simple weapons, martial weapons, so I would just pick
two martial weapons,
2 lights, and then you can just go ham.
So what would light ones constitute?
They say light on them. Like hand axe, I think is a light.
Unless you're trying to stay diehard, if you're trying to stay with the two-handed, sure. But if you're trying to go with your katana, katana ideal,
like
then
that's something that you can pick up later. You can still go two-handed and just main a one hand for now, and then later somewhere in the story you might find like a second weapon. By the time you're able to get the feat, if you wanted to start.
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
But that is something you need to pick at level 1, I believe. Your fighting stance. I don't think you can just switch that whenever you want. Yeah, because you have to adopt it as your particular specialty. You can't take a fighting style option more than once, even if you later get... Yeah, you can't. Even if you later get to choose again, you don't get to... Maybe later it gives you a second one or something, but...
I think it does.
Yeah. Additional fighting style at 10th level.
Okay, 10th level.
You can choose a second option.
So you're going to want to know if you're going to want to dual wield or not.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't want to go like dueling and then two-weapon fighting because that would conflict.
Yeah, you would go like...
But,
and you wouldn't want to go dueling either, because that...
You'd go like defense.
Yeah.
You'd go like defense and any of the other ones, basically.
Yeah, you'd
like
go
that
like
would be the
defense.
only way to do it.
Or protection.
Actually, defense might not be a bad one to start with because it makes me harder to hit, right?
It's 1 more AC. It depends on if that's more valuable, or you get a whole other weapon's worth of damage minus your modifiers.
Yeah,
every time you swing them. That's up to you. Protection is another good one too, because basically you can impose disadvantage on anybody if someone's next to you meleeing away.
But
which
you
would
have
be
to
the
be
rogue.
you have to be using a shield.
Do you? Oh, I guess you might have to. Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah, so defense would be a good one. That would probably be it for you.
That
For the
would
way
be
you're,
the literally only one that you could use with any of the
way
other
that you're
ones.
wanting to play. Yeah, that would be the one that you'd want to go with. Or you could do
I mean,
two-weapon
fighting would basically be min-maxing, but I mean, dueling would kind of make sense in terms of the katana thing as well.
Well, I mean, katanas
The
are
single katana.
held in 2 hands most of the time.
Yeah.
It's not all the time that you're actually using one hand on the katana in traditional katana fighting. Most of the time you're one-handing it.
It's a. I would actually allow that to be a D8, D10 versatile dex of like.
Oh, just swap between depending on how you're doing it. Like have a sword on your hip.
A D8, D10 versatile, finesse weapon.
That'd be cool.
So it's a dex-based versatile weapon.
Yep.
That could be interesting.
And so you'd have sometimes you might have a short sword and a katana out. Sometimes you just two-hand the katana, depending on how you want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I go dueling, I would get a +2 bonus to damage rolls.
Yeah.
If I'm not wielding any other weapons.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
But that might not scale that great.
Since it doesn't exist, we can make it up.
But yeah. That would be cool beans.
I think that would be more interesting in terms of the kind of character that I want to play.
I definitely say go what sounds most fun.
Yeah.
To you. That's what I would.
I mean, the dual wielding is kind of min-maxing, like, because you get all those extra attacks, but then at the same time, it's like...
Is there any place in the new Roll20 to keep track of ammo?
something? I don't know.
I believe there
We did
was,
get
but
a-
I can't remember.
We did get a question that we might not be able to fully explain yet from Stormy. Can we get a description of characters? Sorry, alcohol. Can we get a description of character looks so we can do some sexy fan art? But I don't think that can be fully described yet because a lot of people, like especially for in the case of the samurai, figuring out exactly how she kind of wants, how Syl wants to play the samurai.
I think maybe we'll open next episode with our character
the next
look.
episode might actually, that'll probably open. So just to re-describe, but without really looks, we have the gnome. We have a gnome artificer.
Who's a
He's gonna be a gnome gunsmith. So he's gonna have. I don't remember exactly the description. We'll have to find a description of the gun. What I imagine is like a dwarven blunderbuss from
I can read it out. Let's find it real fast.
from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I imagine the dwarven gun from the hunter of the original World of Warcraft opening cutscene.
I mean, I don't think it would be a blunderbuss, considering it does mention that it's small lead pellet.
It wouldn't be a blunderbuss, but like that's what I picture. That like where the end of the barrel does that widening out and stuff like that.
That's the definition of a blunderbuss. You just stick whatever you can in there and blast it out.
And just blast the shit out.
This does mention fires leaden bullets. So,
gotcha.
I mean, they are engineered bullets. They're not. I wouldn't say that we're doing a shotgun type thing here, unless I get like 16d6, one for each pellet. It's gonna be one bullet at a time. I don't think a blunderbuss would be the way to go, especially with ammo counting. That'd be kind of difficult too, unless I'm doing like five pellets per shot.
And who knows, if we get to the point where we start customizing it, then we start fucking customizing.
Yeah, it could end up going that route. I do see scaling problems with this class at the higher levels. A lot of it turns into infusing magic into my gun. So I'll get things like piercing rounds. I'll get like a blast wave. And I'll get like explosive rounds later down the line at like way later levels. And later, around level 3, I'm able to imbue spells into objects that last about 8 hours. So instead of casting a spell in the moment, I can cast a spell on an item, and somebody else can cast a spell out of that item. So like I could put Shield of Faith on an item. Be like, I'll just walk up to somebody and be like, here's a Shield of Faith. It's in your item. Cast it whenever you want to. And I lose that spell slot still, but they have 8 hours to cast it out of that item.
Gotcha. That's neat.
So I'm wondering, I'll have to talk to Severn about how meta this is, if I can cast spells into ammunition, and then when they hit, it also attaches a spell to it. But I do believe it does mention somewhere in there that like they have to have an intelligence of 8 in order to cast a spell. So I think it has to be like them doing it intentionally. So I can't just be like, I put a healing bullet in you. Like I cast Cure Wounds in this bullet and shoot somebody in the ass and they get hit points. Like
an injection of Cure Wounds.
I don't think that's gonna work that way. I mean, technically they'll have the bullet in their ass, so they could cast out of the bullet if they wanted to. You have a Cure Wounds bullet in your ass. Just use it whenever you need it.
Just okay. Make sure you roll less damage than the cure.
Yeah, I critical failed the damage, so you're good. It'll be a positive
thing. You have a net gain of 3 hit points. Minus the damage I did to you, plus the healing that you got to use from it.
Yeah. So, but I do also have other weapons. So I have a light crossbow that I'll be able to bust out from time to time. The problem is the gun, the thunder cannon, quote unquote, which I'll probably rename it. It's a 2-hander. So that's all I get to wield when I'm wielding it. So that could make for an interesting dynamic of when I'm talking, what does it take to sheath and then pull something back out? That could be an interesting conversation when I'm dealing with a 2-handed weapon. Maybe later I'll be able to condense it into a pistol form or make a pistol. It doesn't mention anything about pistols in the class thing, so maybe that can be a thing later down the line. Maybe I can eventually, instead of completely rebuilding to upgrade this gun, maybe I can condense the design and build 2 handguns that deal the same damage as my rifle. I noticed scaling issues in this class already. I've seen them. There are gaps. I acknowledge that it also is not a combat-driven class by any means. It's just I get a cool pew-pew device that nobody else gets. But I'm not going to be dealing any kind of magical rogue damage, unless I take maybe sharpshooter or something.
All right.
I'm gonna have to look
So
at the
we got
Should be something to look at.
yeah.
we have the gnome artificer, and then we have the gnome artificer's childhood friend / pet, the Tabaxi rogue, who Wonks is playing. Just you have anything to add there? You're muted. You're muted. You're still muted.
I know I was working on it. I was hoping you would lip read. My part, but you didn't. I'm excited. I'm gonna play. It's gonna be great because I'm gonna be all super stealthy, sneaky beaky, find stuff, pretend to be a cat to all the people who don't know me, and be an awesome roguey who's got some ADD issues. But I'm working on them.
Okay, so you're playing the natural cat, curious rogue. You've agreed that you're going to be the scout ahead party kind of thing. And then we have a fighter samurai. That's what we were talking about before. Yep. The fighter samurai. The samurai comes from Unearthed Arcana, but the fighter obviously is a basic class. ERC. But we're working out what elven race technically.
I'd probably just go with the regular elf.
I would allow for a high elf, but if we want to customize it for roleplay purposes, to say that it's a slightly silver skin, but it has all basically the high elf.
High elf
stats.
The high elf.
I don't know if it's high elf.
The regular elf, the normal one. The high elf is a bit different. It has like intelligence and stuff.
I don't remember. Whatever the elf.
The elf. Okay. Cool.
Whatever elf you want to take, and then we can modify. We can
visuals.
modify it for roleplay purposes and say that that's all the elves from that isle look like this. To samurai, so like it's it looks it's a pretty dope like kind of a mix between, I don't know, it's interesting, of like this almost monk barbarian but with a fucking cool
I like
ass.
it.
It's a neat class.
Yeah. Hello, that sounds amazing. I want to hear more about that at some point.
I'm not yawning, you're yawning. Shut the fuck up. And then finally, we got Ozark, who's going to be playing a dwarven cleric, originally from Snowhammer, drawing him much into the thing. I might actually have you not sitting with the party when we start. Okay. It's more like you find out that party's going to Snowhammer, and you're like, no, I'm in.
I'm going with them.
Yeah. Somebody trade me tickets. I've got...
yeah. Shit, I can't. I got to call Ladar and fuck the Underdark. No, thank you.
No shit.
So yeah, and then we have the dwarven cleric, and you're still thinking about your domains and such. Mm-hmm. But I am curious to find out what you guys actually finally placed if you finally placed your stats. What you ended up placing your stats into?
Oh,
because we did roll on stream, and it was fun. And there were some people with definitely low rolls, and some of the people who made deals to keep their high rolls.
Deals with the devil.
Yes. So
are we going?
I'll start with you, TJ.
Okay.
I like the order we've been doing it, where it's been the artificer, the rogue.
So. I'm fine with it. So my strength is a 14. And this is after I've added my racials. I haven't gotten to anything else, but I'm pretty sure race is the only thing that adds to your actual stats.
Race is the only thing.
So I got 14 as a strength. I got 17 as dexterity. Constitution is 14. Intelligence is 19. Wisdom is 8. And charisma is 11.
Wisdom is 8. Okay, so you're an ADD. You're an ADD.
I'm like book smart, not street smart. I have a rogue to be street smart for me.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
I don't know where she put her stats.
I don't know where her wisdom is. Yeah, we'll find out.
She's not here, so we'll skip her for the second. So you guys are really good. All right. She came back. Wow.
Poochie.
Wow, Bruno. Did he climb up there while you were gone?
I lost my seat while I was gone, guys. He was all like, claimed.
Just for reference, that's a 120-pound dog.
He's all up here.
And he's the one who ate his bandages, so he's not been feeling well.
Yeah, we've all been not so good lately.
We've all been there where we eat our bandages.
Yeah, where we're like, God damn it, I'm so sick of my cast. I'm gonna eat it. All right, Wonks.
Yes.
Where did you put your points? Describe your stats.
I've got a 17 in Dex.
No, it's strength. Just work your way down.
I know, but I wrote them in the wrong order.
Okay, fair enough.
I've got a 15 in Charisma. I've got a 10 in Strength. I have a 12 in Constitution. I have a 6 in Wisdom, and I have a 10 in Intellect.
6 in Wisdom. Hey, guess what?
I'm more wise. I'm more wise.
Oh.
So you both have the wisdom of. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Are you sure that's what you want to do?
Well, isn't Wisdom what makes me ADD, or would it be Intelligence?
No, Wisdom would definitely make you ADD, but also be aware that judges your awareness of your surroundings. And if you're the scout, having a low Wisdom is very bad. Wisdom determines your perception.
Yes, but I also get to add a 2 to my perception because I'm proficient.
So you're -1 in it?
So I'll be 0.
So you'll be straight rolls for perception.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, you can do.
But what's your
do whatever you want.
It's okay. I'll be the one picking the locks because I have proficiency in thieves' tools. What are thieves' tools, anyways? What's the bonus to them? What's the stat?
It's a dex. It's dex based.
It's dex based? Oops, I just rolled it. I clicked on it. Oh, I'm fine with it being dex based.
Yeah.
It's weird because it says ability checks make you disarm traps and open locks.
I could do my intelligence at 6 and my wisdom at 10.
It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. I just want to say.
I was hoping you were the
wanted to
street smart
clarify
one.
and throw that out there that as a scout, having low wisdom is not.
Be talking a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I could put my strength at 6.
Who made her take a 6? God damn it. What kind of demon did this?
She rolled it.
That's harsh.
You know what?
I'm
going to put my constitution at 6.
Wonks, which of your stats gets bumped by your race?
Dex gets +2 and Charisma gets +1. But I need both of those, I think.
What do you need charisma for?
For...
Who's gonna like a thief anyways, except for me, because we have a special bond?
Well, I have to be able to be mischievous and be able to lie about stuff.
What are you gonna... Okay.
You go 6 strength. But I mean, you don't really need to be strong for stuff. You can always come back and basically like, "Hey guys, I scouted it up. There's a place we need to open. Can somebody come lift this for me?" Or
strength isn't a thing that you need to be good at.
No,
because all your weapons are dex.
And any kind of like climbing checks and all that kind of stuff is always going to be dex based for you.
Yeah, you'd be able to do acrobatics for most of that shit. So.
And plus, you got tiny little cat arms, so you know.
So I can just not have strength be, and well, I mean, if I have my cat attack, then I'll have not a cat attack.
Oh, is that a strength-based attack?
Yeah, I think so.
That's weird.
Are you sure?
I'm looking.
It'd be dex based. Because it'd be about how fast you're being.
No, well, the damage, it's 1d4 plus strength modifier for my cat.
But you don't minus strength modifiers on damage, do you? Do you use negative on?
Yeah, you
strength
do.
on damage? Really?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Oh. What is cat attack?
It's just this
She got like a
Just like
slash.
you can just say that
Is
I
that
put little
really
wax
something that's
caps
gonna
on
be-
your
I mean,
nails.
I
so you
guess I
can't
can
scratch.
just go with no strength and just be like, meh,
But you'll have like
or
weapons.
use a weapon.
or use a weapon.
You're not gonna go unarmed like 99% of the time.
All
So.
right, I'll switch wisdom to 10 with strength for 6.
She's wise.
Ish.
Ish, yeah.
She's average wisdom, but you know.
But she
whatever.
has a proficiency to
I got the hiccups.
perception, so now she'll have a +2 to perception at least.
Okay. That'll work.
So I have a little bit of a. I'm not quite sure about my stats either. My strength and wisdom is the same kind of dilemma. I'm not quite sure which way I want to go. Right now, I've got my strength at 13, my dexterity at 19, my constitution at 16, my intelligence at 11, my wisdom at 16, and my charisma at 7. So the dexterity is the 17 plus the 2 that I get from being an elf.
Monster.
And I figure all my stuff is going to be dex based, plus that makes me really hard to hit, and I probably won't need massive amounts of strength, and I think 13 is enough strength to at least be able to wear some armor and hit stuff with. So yeah. So what do you guys think?
What was your mental stats?
Intelligence
I just
11.
realized I was muted.
Yeah. Intelligence 11 and wisdom 16.
Okay.
So she's not like super smart, but
I mean, you're
Very
above.
perceptive.
Technically,
wise
10 is
and
Very
average.
perceptive.
Technically, 10
and-
is average, so you're
Yeah.
just slightly above average intelligence.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But since I don't I don't have any knowledge of magic. I almost called it city magic because apparently that's like ingrained in me.
There ain't no cities left, girl. Only a few bastions of hope.
Exactly. And yeah, again, she's not gonna be super likable, but yeah, whatever.
I mean, it's really ultimately those stats will be up to how you want. Below your primary stats are how you want to like play and what your skills you want to use. You know, like
Yeah.
that's where you would put your orders after your primaries or your primary and secondaries. I would just be like, okay, well, I know that I have these ones need to be the highest, but I also don't want to be shitty at these couple skills because I know I'm gonna need them. So that's where I'll put those stats instead of like. Or you can go the RP route and be like, I want to RP smart, or I want to RP stupid, or however you want to go. You can make your decision based on those two things, but know that you can't always have your cake and eat it too in that situation. It's either how you want to RP or how you want to play sometimes.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to RP someone who's like a little bit gruff and doesn't really like connect with.
Yeah, you've always been a lone wolf
not...
ever since you've been exiled.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why I'm a British.
I think it works really well with the
or...
whole like character concept. So
yeah.
I think I'm pretty happy with that, and I figure she would be quite wise, having seen a lot of stuff.
You've been around longer. What have
For
you
being
decided
older,
what kind of age you're
exactly.
going for?
You could be.
She knows what she's looking out for and stuff.
You can easily be a several 100-year-old. Elf.
What kind of what have you decided on an age range, or is that something that you're keeping under wraps?
No, it's something I'll have to look into because I'm not quite sure about elves. Like, what constitutes as
they're
sort of
like I think 100 years old is an adult.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's
So
pretty.
It's
Up
not
there.
100, but yeah, it's pretty. It's up there.
It's up there.
Can live up to 750 years old.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So,
Yeah.
They don't really see time as like a thing. They're like,
Yeah.
we have all the time in the world. But yeah, you will definitely have an accumulation.
Still playing someone who doesn't fit well into society? Imagine that.
It does seem to be where I'm pigeonholing myself.
The cool part is she could have a lot. I mean, I don't know how. You said your wisdom was what?
16.
That's history. You'll have a good knowledge of history.
Yeah.
History's
No,
intelligence.
history's intelligence.
Oh, history is intelligence. That's why I have it.
Yeah,
proficient.
intelligence.
Okay.
Intelligence is intelligence is based off of
scholarly knowledge.
determines memory, which I disagree with. I think, but that's in a whatever.
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast, for balance reasons or whatever, they've based memory on intelligence, recalling things, studying things, and stuff like that. They all determine that to be intelligence, and then they awareness is wisdom. So
Yeah.
I have to go through toolkits because I'm proficient
And for some
in a
reason,
few.
charisma determines like mental status. In terms of like horror games, you use like charisma as like
it's weird. They're doing their best they can to interpret incredibly complicated shit into
and to
6
balance
stats.
them out as well. Yeah, and to balance
and to make
them
sure
out
they
to make
balance.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's one of those
That
things
all of
where
them
it's
have
like
use.
video games where it's like, why does it make any sense why this AK-47 only does this? It's because it needs to balance with this other fucking gun, you dick. It's not about supposed to be real life. It's a game.
Let's see what I want.
I'm 100, Mom. You can't tell me what to do anymore.
I'm an adult.
All right, finally, Ozark, where'd you place your stats?
All right, I got 15 strength.
Okay.
And then 9 dexterity. So I figure, and then also 15 constitution. So I'm healthy and strong, but not the sharpest, basically. Like
sounds like a dwarf.
Yeah, exactly. Then I got 12 intelligence, 17 wisdom, and 9 charisma. And I sort of played with flip-flopping the 9 and 12 on the intelligence charisma, but I think I'd like him to be a little smarter and less grumbly. Like maybe he grew up sort of monastery, like in the church and stuff, so he's not really used to dealing with people out in the outside world. Plus, he's a grumbly dwarf, so
right. All right, right on.
Along with.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, totally. Okay, so we've got an interesting cast of characters for sure. So I will say,
so we'll be able to sit back and be like, watch them get into trouble, be like, yeah, see where this is going.
Yeah, I will say that the rules as far as equipment and stuff like that, it starts to get a bit interesting. I'm going to say that you are literally not allowed to go on a buy your own equipment spree, because in the current climate and the current things, the way that things are in the world, money doesn't really mean shit. Money is a thing, and some people might still be like, okay, fine, I'll take money, but money has drastically lost its value. If you can give somebody food, they're gonna be interested, kind of thing. So I will. So basically, when it says that you can take this pack or that pack for your class, you're taking one of those packs. That's what you get. You're not.
Time to reclass as a druid and create food and water.
Yeah.
Let's break the economy.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to
lemonade stand.
You're not allowed to treat the. You're not allowed to go for the standard. Hey, I'm gonna take this much gold and go shopping. Kind of. I'm gonna rebuild my character. So based on your class,
that's what you get.
In a few occasions, where I will allow, for example, the samurai to have the family katana, which will be for the record, if you want to write this down, is a slashing, so slashing damage, D8 one-handed, D10 two-handed, finesse weapon, not light though.
Okay.
It is not considered a light weapon, but it is a versatile weapon, D8 D10 slashing finesse weapon, so you can use your dexterity for it. And I will be willing to work in some exceptions for things and whatnot. The cleric, you get whatever your focus is for a cleric, you get it for free. That's your cleric. That's your focus.
One thing that I have a question of, Sev, because a lot of the tools don't have a designated stat to them. And I have thieves tools and 2 other tools of my choice that I am proficient with. I don't get them. I get Thieves' Tools for sure, but I don't get the other two. But I do have to pick proficiencies. So I have to determine what the stats are going to be of the ones that I want to take. So in Roll20, you have to give them a stat, your tool a stat. So I want to make sure that they're consistent.
Yeah.
I want to do smith tools.
Smithing tools, I feel would be a. I'm gonna, and this may be controversial. If you're offended by this, email my email account. I don't give a fuck at fuckyou.u.
Okay.
I want to say that's going to be Constitution based because of the idea of a smith toiling for hours, kind of idea. Like if you're smithing, it's about endurance over.
Okay, I can see that. With that explanation,
that's why I want to
say
say Constitution.
That. Okay. Okay, and then I was thinking also tinkering.
Tinkering, I would say intelligence.
Intelligence for tinkering. Okay. So those are I'm gonna be thieves, smiths, and tinkering. Those are my tool proficiencies.
If you find official wizards rules, and I will always say this, if you find official wizards rules that say this over that, show them to me, and if I disagree with them, I will say
I disagree with
them. If I'm not, I'm like, oh, if that's how they meant it, okay, that's how they meant it. And I will change my personal homebrew rules.
For sure. Okay.
I've done that countless times before. By countless, I mean not that they're so high that I can't count. It's that I don't give a fuck to count them.
So I do get the okay, and then we got the inventory, man. That's the one thing is the equipment in this is not the best.
So
I apologize because I'm fading fast, guys.
It's fine.
I'm still recovering. I apologize.
You're
I apologize.
okay.
It's fine, Wonks. I'm
We're actually
doing the same thing.
We're actually 30 minutes away from like 9 o'clock for me, which is midnight for you guys. So it's not like we haven't been doing this for 2.5 hours.
I feel bad because I know I'm burnt out, guys.
Well, we'll figure out the final touches throughout the week, and then we'll go over it at the beginning of the episode next week. Whatever kind of things we figure out.
Exactly. It'll be fine. We know what we're doing. I'm gonna be a great cat.
What's the samurai style dagger or shorter
wakizashi?
Yeah, that I would be willing to say that has more than similar with a what's the word I'm looking for?
Dagger?
The scimitar. That has more in common with a scimitar than your typical, but I will say that that would be a D4 slashing because there's no it would be a D4 slashing instead of a D4. So a dagger is a piercing. That's a D4 slash. That would be a D4 slashing in my opinion, unless somebody could correct me and be like, dude, that makes no fucking sense at all. They actually use that. They block with their katana and then they jab under their gut and stab up under their ribs, and I'll be like, okay, fine, it's a fucking piercing.
Well,
you
just proved it.
Yeah. In those three sword sets, they have the katana, wakizashi, and then the tanto is the actual little dagger. But
yeah, the tanto. Yeah. Actually, tanto is what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Not the Lone Ranger kind.
Yeah, no, the tanto. I think of that shit because of games like PS1 games like Brave Fencer Musashi.
Yeah.
And what was the one? Oh, there was that ninja one. There was that ninja one where you could design maps, and I would design maps for my little Tenchu.
That was a great game.
Tenchu was a fucking amazing game. Yeah. I would design maps for my younger brother and make him play through these ridiculously difficult maps.
Yeah.
And then laugh at him when he couldn't beat the maps that I would make that were like just retardedly difficult.
It's like boss, ninja. It's just one room.
Where it was like, I've created a map for you, where I'm like, there is literally one way through this map. I've beaten this map, and if you cannot find, you cannot find the crazy ass way I found through this, you were gonna die because everything else is ridiculously difficult.
Left just enough of a gap between these buildings for you to literally stealth the entire level, but you'll never find it.
Yeah, you'll never find it unless you design the level like me.
Yeah,
I was the fucking Mario Maker dick.
Dude, if they came out with a Tenchu game again, oh my god.
Dude, they need to come out with a Tenchu game again. Are you kidding me?
Have you guys seen the new, what was it called? It's like, I have to go look it up. It looks very Dark Soulsy, but with the Japanese flavor, and it also has like stealth stuff in there. But I don't think it has the same sort of like stealth.
Yeah.
Like where you're actually, because what I would do is I would just like hang out. I would go like, sneak up to the edge of the room and like look at the people down there and just sit there and watch them for like 10 minutes, walking in the circles, like, okay, now this drop gonna kill everybody without you seeing me.
Yeah, or you just, my favorite thing was setting traps in that game, where you could set like the poison trap, the poison food, and they're like, oh, rice ball, and you're like, why?
Neo.
Yeah.
That I've heard a lot of people talk really good about that game.
Only, I think, but yeah, it got like Dark Souls feel with it being a physics based, but then it was just like I saw some stealth stuff and the Japanese stuff in there was really cool for sure.
Oh, I guess I can use other resources as, I have 2 ammunitions. I have bolts and I have, I can add more resources. I can add more. Okay, this one's bolts.
We're gonna need to talk about like specifics as far as what
I'm just gonna put bolts.
The artificer really needs as far as
I basically at level 2 I can craft my own ammunition.
Yeah, but it's what is it based on?
It's a magic thing. So I make, let's see, I gotta scroll down. Nope, that's too far. Let's find it. You make something. No, that's alchemists. You make the arcane magazine. At first level, you craft a leather bag used to carry your tools and ammunition for your thunder cannon. Your arcane magazine includes the powder, lead shot, and other materials needed to keep that weapon functioning. You can use the arcane magazine to produce ammunition for your gun. At the end of each long rest, you can magically produce 40 rounds of ammunition with this magazine. After a short rest, you can produce 10 rounds. If you lose your arcane magazine, you can create a new one as part of a long rest using 25 gold pieces of leather and raw materials. So basically, I make my own ammunition when doing a long rest or short rest, but I make less during a short rest. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's kind of like how they treat arcane focus versus spell materials. It's like getting like, do we really want to make our gunsmith go mine a bunch of lead and mine a bunch of like, you know what I mean? Like, I get they're
no.
So.
It's when I say that shit, it's more of a sense of how is this in as far as game terms garnered, because typically when it comes to game terms, a lot of that shit is turned into just money value.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mention anything about the materials in the bag. It just mentions the bag as having a cost, and the materials just magically come with the bag.
Yeah.
And they're just in there all the time. It's actually something that I craft as a part of my gunsmith.
Yeah, and that's fine. I might, depending on the situation, might specify like, okay, yeah, in this situation, money wouldn't fucking matter, you know.
Yeah. Well, we'll need to determine how if I need it, because obviously, it being a gunsmith, there aren't many gunsmiths around, so it's not like I can just go to a place and buy arrows. You know, I can't just go buy bullets. So right. I'm gonna need to know how to either make those, or if that's gonna result in like, okay, instead of it being like 40 every long rest, roll 2d20, and that's how many you
Yeah.
get. Or 2d20, like 10 plus whatever. You roll, 2d6s or 3d6s or whatever, and that's how much you get. Because to me, I'm feeling like if they're bullets, I'm going to be making them so often I have them down to a science, and they're just going to be like, I get that I don't want, like, to me it's boring to have a bag that I'm just like, I have a bullet. Like,
Yeah.
I would prefer there to be something to where, like, I'm like, I have to make bullets, and if I forget to make bullets, that sucks. So I get that part of it, and I'm totally for that part of it, as long as it ends up being fair, considering I think this is probably going to be my main weapon going forward. I want to say it's 2d6 piercing damage at normal range. And it also has a decent maximum range of 500 feet. And there's also specifics of if I lose my rifle, what I owe. But in materials. But like you said, money doesn't really have as much value, so how am I gonna...
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like...
It's unique to the campaign, for sure.
Yeah.
Since you're basically throwing out currency as a form of most of the time not being able to really get your shit.
Well, it's more of a... People might still be interested in currency, but there's a lot of times where people are going to be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You could, like, there are some things that have drastically shifted the economy. Like, trying to be like, hey, I want to, like, oh, you're honestly trying to convince me that all this food is worth that much gold? I can't eat that fucking gold.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of comes down to, like, it's
and that's where I'm hoping my tinkering comes into play, because I can make like little contraptions or things to make people's lives a little easier, and maybe that can be something I bargain with. Or I can make toys for kids and be all charitable and shit, and then earn some goodwill, or whatever. There are ways to get around currency. It's just my core mechanics. I need them to still function, and whether they change or not, that's fine, because it is a beta class, but that it still needs to make sense and it needs to function. If all of a sudden it's like, we have to go now you have to mine for lead, it's like, well, fuck me,
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah,
but it's certainly one of those things where it might be like,
because it has to. I mean, ultimately, if it gets to the point where I'm like, well, why the fuck did I choose this class? I would have chose something else. Then that sucks to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Don't get me wrong. I am absolutely going to be in the kind of case of, like, yeah, we'll make this work where your character's not boring as fuck.
Yeah.
But we might make it work in a different way than just what's the value of that thing as is written in the book, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I have to sacrifice things to the blood pouchel.
You might have to sacrifice things to kind of be like, this is of equal value to that. That's all.
Okay. Well, then we need to have some kind of economy. Like, there has to be some kind of system, because if it's all guessing, then it's kind of, I don't know. It'll be
something that I work out when I'm not drinking Fireball to solve my sinus issues.
Yeah, it's kind of a situation of like
equivalent bartering.
Yeah, because casters get all their damage with a focus or with materials, and that's basically this magazine is a focus, so I don't have to pay for materials.
Yes, but at the same time, there are spells that can't cast. It basically, their focus allows for anything that doesn't have a explicit value in the thing. That value would also be altered by,
I believe, an arcane
kind of
focus replaces all materials, not
all materials that do not have an explicit value defined.
Yes.
That's what the same idea. That's all I'm trying to say is the same idea of something that has an explicit value defined would also have that same issue of being like,
so replacing my
value in this economy currently has changed.
Yeah.
So the same idea. Like if you're gonna cast something that's worth 500 gold, 500 gold is a little bit different here.
But at the same time, we're also talking, like, I need 25 gold pieces worth of leather and raw materials. That doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, food. That's you can't get food for 25 gold pieces. It devalues leather.
I'll work out something specific.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, yeah.
I'll work out something specific that's very simple.
Yeah.
I'll have that by next week.
Yeah.
It'll be something simple, but it's different, but it's very specific. Where it's like gold is worth half its value, but you can trade in, say, a ration. A ration is now suddenly worth 10 gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like it comes down to like something like that. You know what I mean?
This is where I work it out though, because not every food is God. Obviously, it seems to be in this. So if you come up with somebody and you're like, I don't want food with this gold, but what about some leather?
Yeah, well, that's where it comes down to. Like, that's why I say the value in itself when it comes to something like that would be like, okay, gold has half its value. So instead of 25 gold, it's actually, if you wanted to pay in pure gold, it's now 50. Unless you wanted to put food on the table, in which case each item of food might be worth 10, that you could balance that out. We'll figure it out. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but there is going to be some sort of thing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where food suddenly becomes like a, wow, this is, it's worth its weight in gold, kind of idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine with that, but I'm not going to be buying things with food. I'm not going to.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I'm saying that, but it's going to be open to RP. That's what I'm trying to say. It's going to be open to RP. There's going to be a lot of shit in this campaign that it's like, yeah, but what's this worth to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in that instant, I'm going to be like, I have no fucking idea. It's not like I drew a graph to tell you that like this is going to be worth that. I'm going to be in that instance. What is this NPC do I think that's going to be kind of worth?
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I'm trying to cast this spell right now, and it involves this kind of thing, we would need to have a basic rule set involved of what is gold worth, what is this worth, kind of thing.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in the same equivalent of gold being undervalued, diamonds would be undervalued. People are, I can't eat diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's
no, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to a situation where when it comes down to role play and I'm bartering with an actual individual, like,
well, it always comes
role
down
play
to
wise,
that.
There's going to be some haggling involved.
It always comes
there's
down
going to be
that.
There's going to be some straight up haggling involved, because that's going to be a very much like a, what matters to you? You're a blacksmith. Okay, food is cool to a blacksmith, but maybe this rare material is cool to a blacksmith. But okay, this person, you know what I mean? Like, it gets a little bit different and stuff like that. And that's sort of what I want to introduce into this, instead of having a generic monetary value assigned to things. All of a sudden, there's no straight economy anymore. There's no straight ruler, there is a dictatorship. There's no strict, like, oh, hey, these gold pieces are worth this here and that's there. It's going to be like, oh, cool, gold pieces. Okay, I accept that. Sure, because some other people also accept that. But like, oh, you've piqued my interest with this thing that might not have piqued anyone else's interest. But that at the same time, when you're casting things specifically at that time, typically that is a weirder sense of, that's why they assign a value of, this is a diamond worth at least this much to cast a resurrection, is because they're basically saying like, you don't have to like worry too much about making sure you have the components on yourself.
Yeah.
You just mark off that much gold. We have to figure out a specific for that to make it kind of balanced at the same time.
Yeah.
So there are going to be definite role play instances where if you're thinking about something that makes more sense as to why this person might want this more than just gold, you might be right. But when it comes to casting a spell in a combat situation where obviously you're not trying to trade with something, we need to work out some math.
Yeah, I don't think I have any specific spells I haven't looked at them because I don't go through the descriptions. They just tell me what I have. But I don't think I have any specific spells that have monetary value. My only thing that has monetary value is literally if I lose or my gun just gets destroyed and I have to remake it, or if I lose or my arcane, I don't think even my arcane magazine can get destroyed because it's magic. It's a magic item. But if I lose it, then I have to spend gold on leather and raw materials in order to replace it. But none of the stuff it creates, none of the ammunition it creates actually costs anything.
Yeah.
So it's really just comes down to if I fucking lose it, then I need to figure that part out. So
totally. And in that case, it will be very much a situational thing. Yeah. That we will figure out in role play while we're playing.
I'm pretty sure the only person that ever lost anything in Dragonspire was Hollow, and he lost his bow. And that's it. Not a big deal. He just kind of gave it to a strange priest lady. So
yeah, you know, no big deal.
As you do.
But that's a good thing for me to kind of explain to the party as a whole, as we're all sitting here, is that things like that, if you think, hey, maybe this person might want that more than that, bring it up at the time, because I guarantee I probably won't have thought of that at the time. But if you're like, hey, maybe you want this rare thing I found, that makes sense for your kind of whoever we're trying to deal with. Because a bartering system is definitely taking hold.
Yeah.
And
Paths of Exile style.
Is king over gold. Gold still exists, coins are all still out there, and people are still bartering with them, but they but that gold value is way less than it used to be because there's no government honoring that system. You know what I mean? There's nothing like they're like, okay, that still has a monetary value and stuff like that. It can be smelted down and people give a shit about that, but it doesn't feed my family immediately kind of idea. It doesn't get me to my immediate goals.
Yeah.
Like it used to 10 years ago. So there definitely will be instances where you find a treasure chest full of gold, and 10 years ago that might have been like, oh my god, we're rich and we're gonna retire. Now it's like, is it worth carrying?
Yeah, it's a little heavy.
So there will definitely be those kind of instances.
I have a question about my soldier background.
Okay.
The proficiencies I gain from it are athletics and intimidation. Can I swap athletics for acrobatics since I'm all DXE based?
Sorry, repeat that.
The skill proficiencies that the soldier background gives you is athletics and intimidation. Can I switch athletics, which is the strength one?
Just to go with backgrounds real quick, you can take any two proficiency extras that you want that you would typically so a background always gives you 2. You can take any 2 you want.
Okay, so you can
just make it work. Make it make sense with whatever it is you're determining.
Athletics makes little sense.
To me, the backgrounds from the book are suggestions.
Okay, cool.
They're neat. They're a good starting ground to be like, oh, okay, that's my background, but that doesn't make sense for what I'm thinking. Change it.
Awesome.
Like, that's totally fine. Your proficient, your extra 2 proficiencies that you get from your background can be any 2 that make sense. So you can't just be like, oh, well, I mean, I'm choosing the background of a soldier, but I've got
Arcana and
I've got Arcana and performance. It's like, wait, what? No. Make this work.
Yeah.
So since I was looking into gunsmith, I actually get smithing as a proficiency to tools, so that means I get another one. I'm picking artisan tools for brewing.
Okay.
Sure. What would that stat be?
Artisan tools for brewing. I would say I would let that be. I would make that a charisma
for brewing.
And I only say that because of brewing, because alcohol, charisma. It's like a charisma thing.
It's like a chemist.
Make it. I'm aware, but I know some idiots who brew beer. So.
Well, you can be a jack of all trades or a master of none.
The reason I say charisma is because of the idea of I make beer, as opposed to like
I'm not sharing it with anybody. It's for me.
Hey, we talked about the barter system, damn it. That would come in handy.
I know. Let's see.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. Looks like we're gonna go on family vacation.
Define fit. Well, I would not take.
Me?
him.
Can you please take me? I would like to go on one of these vacations with you.
I would take you. I'm not talking. I'm not like
Talking about
taking
me.
kids to Vegas is like,
No,
hey,
not
let me take an anchor into the ocean while I go swimming.
They have roller coasters and stuff, just lots of prostitutes too. No.
Actually, I don't want to go to Vegas. I have no desire.
Yeah, I'm also about to say, I'm like, why the fuck do you suddenly give a shit about Vegas?
Because I love Jeff.
It's
Love you,
fun.
Jeff. Jeff's my most favoriteest brother-in-law in the universe.
It's also the only brother-in-law you've met.
It's a lie. I've met both my other ones.
Have you?
Yes,
Okay.
I have. Very long time ago.
I don't fucking know. That's not my
Yeah,
job.
Family Christmas
It's
party.
not my job to keep track of that shit. All right. Anyways, all right. So it is 11:50. This is your last chance, chat. If you have questions, hit this shit up and everything like that. Because otherwise, it seems to me like we're getting to the point where
this is like we're doing the minimal stuff, like the really niche shit.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty. This is the stuff. So we've got a gnome artificer, a tabaxi rogue, a elven samurai, and a dwarven cleric. I love the fact that there's no human involved. In this next thing. And I will say, like I said at the beginning, and maybe needs to be reclarified, even though right now it comes down to this idea of getting out of the city and going to that's the thing. Going to Snowhammer, that's the quest you've been given, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are not you're not SEAL Team 6. This is not like they came down and like the orders came down from the chain of command. You're not military. Like, this is you volunteers. Like, this is the people they could get to go agree to this. Hell, it might not even be totally approved by everybody in this city. This is a rebel faction of just people who are going to go do this shit, right?
Mm.
So it comes down to the idea that is, yes, got to Snowhammer, do this thing. There's a lot of teams going out right now to circumnavigate the globe, and find the places where that might help and get help. But that being said, and I will say this in a metagaming sense, this is different from Dragonspire. There is not the Dragon King didn't see you at level 1 and has been taunting you the whole time. You're nobodies to the Dragon King. Like, the Dragon King doesn't know who you are. You guys are rebels. You guys are whatever the hell you are. You're nothings. For the first several levels, for the first handful of levels, it will basically be like you're conducting a campaign, or you're playing a game. Yeah, it's a bullshit totalitarian regime that you live under, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're making all sorts of decisions and doing bullshit that you disagree with.
So it's America in 10 years' time.
It's America. But I'm just saying that your characters they're not going to have necessarily. You're going to be having your choices. There's going to be a lot of choices. And your goal in this one is not necessarily, oh, hey, we need to go kill the Dragon King. We need to stop the Dragon. The Dragon King's taking over. It's just more of a sense of survive. Do what necessarily is good for me. Or depending on your alignment, good for others or good for whatever. This is a different campaign, shorter storylines, shorter campaign ideas, quest lines, things like that. You have a goal, but there could be distractions along the line. Things will be there for you to go do or not do. If you decide not to do them, they might not be there to go back to. You know what I mean? So it's all about that kind of idea. It's not nearly as driven as the last campaign. The last campaign was very much like, this is what needs to happen next. Are you going to forsake that to go on your selfish means? Or are you going to, you know what I mean? Like, that idea. This one is basically like, yeah, I mean, whatever. You're on your own characters here. Mm-hmm. You're not the demon hunters of the last campaign. So even though the world looks bleak and everything looks dark and despairing and such like that, and the theme that I originally gave seemed like this dark and harrowing campaign, that's not necessarily true. Your characters don't know what's going on outside the walls. You've been stuck here. So I'm looking forward to it next week on Dragonspire. We start Dragonspire : Resistance. Resistance, by the way.
It's a stomach problem thing.
I didn't include the colon.
Yeah, it's Dragonspire Resistance.
Oh, well, just give me some colon resistance.
So yeah, it should be a good time. That's the plan. I plan on having guests. I plan on having it being a little bit different than the original Dragonspire. Guests and different characters and all sorts of surprises and things that have been affected by the last campaign and such.
Awesome.
So it should be some fun. And just, some more experimentation and having fun with Dungeons and Dragons. Anyways, unless anybody else has anything to add, I'm gonna say thank you everybody for hanging out. As we created characters
through this.
And next week things get interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to it.
I hope to not be sick by then.
I am trying to shake the thing that I keep stuffing tissues up my goddamn nose for.
So I'm new to this. When do I hit the stop streaming button?
What's that?
I'm new to this. When do I hit the stop streaming button?
Well, I was just saying, all right, everybody else get a thing. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Have a wonderful evening. And I will see you guys next Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I have to draw some maps and do some shit and come up with some economies and all sorts of stuff. And then, ladies and gentlemen, unless there's without further ado, I present, it's TJ hitting the stop streaming button.